discretion is advised. Following can strong measures. Viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised. Following can strong measures. Viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised. Following can strong measures.
How are you guys doing? I think we'll just chatting. Oh, it's morning for you. Oh, alright. Oh god. Titans fucking suck, man.
Viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, it's me.
Is advised. Following can strong measures. Viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised. Viewer discretion is advised. Following can strong measures.
Music is kinda loud. Oh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Is both BGM and my voice are heard? Well, technically, we'll be already finishing. Okay, so let's start. Finally. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. It's been a fucking while, huh? Maybe I should adjust it a little bit. One sec. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be reacting to Megapig's Len'en video, which is really good. If you haven't seen it, then let's watch it together. And I'll be commenting as, as a veteran. Because I have been, once again, as I have repeated several times, but I'm doing this introduction for the for the world watchers, maybe. Maybe some Toho fans would stumble upon. And as a fan of 8 years, as said in the name, well, it is quite interesting to see an actual good review. Because, well, for the longest time, there hasn't been any proper ones, I feel. Or even if it wasn't really all that good. Reaction stream take 2, yeah. Hopefully it will actually be good this time. Hopefully you can actually hear it.
Even is Len'en? There are probably many Toho fans
Do you guys
who are
hear
just
it?
like how I was 2 weeks ago. We know Toho, but we keep hearing
Do you guys hear it? Do you guys hear the video properly? We need more accurate information on Len'en videos. Yeah, well, technically his is the most accurate we kinda have right now. Well, what happened to the first one, by the way? Yes. The sound was too silent. It's not too silent, too quiet. And I didn't. It's a bit quiet though. Oh, so that's how it is. How do I even adjust it? How do I adjust the audio for this? Так, properties. Так, window capture. Maybe I can increase the decibels. If it not hearing, the titles already do the good job. Oh, okay. Fuck.
So, like, what even is Len'en? There are probably many Toho fans who are just like how I was 2 weeks ago. We know Toho, but we keep hearing about this thing called Len'en. Len'en games, Len'en characters, Len'en fanworks, Len'en crazy game design. But like, what is it? Is it a Toho thing? Is it its own thing? Where can I find a Len'en thing? Well, dear viewer, we'll answer that question and more as I take you through my journey to find out what Len'en is. So Len'en is a series of video games made by one person, Boon. Nah, I'm just kidding. Their name is Jinx.
Well, at first, while I was planning for the reaction, 2 weeks of research. Let's go! Yeah. Mm, At first, when I was planning to do a reaction, I was going to how do I say this? Pay attention to this joke, because at first I didn't really like it, because no, it felt a little bit in the lowbrow territory. Maybe. Why the fuck my eyes close so much? Because it was kind of jokey, but it's not really on that level. Like, I felt it was a bit disrespectful. But then maybe it's a play on bootleg Zune, which kind of a lowbrow, but still. It is, you know what? Once I'm thinking about it, it's actually kind of fine. So,
They were well known for making these fan remakes of PC98 Toho games in a more modern style.
Yes.
Though as far as I'm aware, none of them, save for this weird Toho 3 thingy, were publicly released. After
Yes, they weren't publicly released, except for the Fool's Rush In. It's not really Toho 3 thingy, it's more of a kind of a reimagining. Like, it has its own system, like as you can see here, there is a bit of a lace going on. But, unfortunately, as much as I pride myself as a fucking Len'en veteran, I never played Fool's Rush In. I was never really interested in it, sorry. But yeah, none of those remakes were released to the public, and it's all because, well, Jinx was pretty much afraid of Zune, so, that's why they were a bit hesitant to release them. Even so, it should be more or less fine. And also, I didn't play Fool's Rush In. Well, I did hear about the unique gimmick pertaining to Fool's Rush In. Is that it has only one track, well, two tracks. One is for the main menu, and the second is the arrangement for the decisive battle, which I recently heard, like literally today. And to unlock the whole OST, you have to buy the album to hear the arrangements, which is kind of a bit unique, I suppose. I can't believe you guys actually remember this. О, кстати, привет, Трайкс, Пиво хатуен раку с вами.
As I'm aware, none of them, save for this weird Toho 3 thingy, were publicly released. After getting the rights and blessings to work on a game from a disbanded circle they used to be in, Jinx created the modern form of Len'en project.
Oops. I didn't notice the first time, but it is a common misconception. Because he literally did the same mistake as Tsuauko did, but at least it's not egregious. He didn't claim that Jinx was literally developing emergency every day. He just said that they used to be in a circle, which is not true. They were an underclassman of Daijin. You know, the real developer.
Publicly released. After getting the rights and blessings to work on a game from a disbanded circle they used to be in, Jinx created the modern form of Len'en.
And I guess I suppose I can turn it into a highlight, so I'll explain the situation. Even though all of my viewers already are aware of what the backstory of Len'en is and what the fuck is going on with this project, but still. Anyway, the real story is that, well, Jinx was Daishin's underclassman, and, well, the game abandoned in roughly 2010, because that was the first, that was the year when the footage was released. And then, after a while, Jinx got interested in Emergency Every Day and asked if he could take the IP, which Daijin said yes, but, well, they had some conditions that they want Jinx to follow through, like keeping the original name, such as Len'en, the connecting chain, and second of all is that they shouldn't use any of the characters that were used in Emergency Every Day. So Jinx has the right to the project, but they don't have the rights to the characters, such as Daijin, Big Bo, Shinku, Seirinsu, etc.
Project. It looks like Toho. It has a lot of mechanics that are like Toho, but it is not actually part of Toho. It is not a derivative work, and is instead its own series. So, what now? Well, instead of just doing a general series overview, I decided to base this video around my personal experiences playing the first two Len'en games.
And that is what I like about it. Like, Suwaku, you have the impression that he didn't fucking play the games. At least at the time of making those videos. Or at least he didn't disclose that he played those games at all. But, well, it is clear that he didn't play because, well, he got a lot of things wrong.
Len'en 1, Evanescent Existence, and Len'en 2, Earthen Miraculous Sword.
But it is kind of odd that he would pick only first two games. Well, not really odd, considering that, yeah, they came out in the same date, which is November 13. But it would be much more accurate to play through 3 of the games, which would include Len'en 3, Reactivate Majestical Imperial, since in my opinion, that's how the series really takes off in the story department, in the character department. Oh, Mega always tries to play the games, yeah, unless he physically can't.
Why two games? Because by my thumbnail artist's recommendation and Jinx's own admission, you kind of need both to learn what the setting is. They also both came out at the same time. I can start with the positive right away. Aside from possibly the next game to release, all official Len'en games are free. And I don't mean like Moria Shrine free. I mean completely legally free to download. That's awesome! So if you want to get into Len'en, the games are easily accessible.
Yeah, and I feel like that's also the biggest draw of the Len'en, because it is free software and you don't really have to know too much of an insider knowledge to get into the series. Like before, like anything happened, I didn't know what Maria Shrine was. I didn't know how to pirate Toho games actually back then. I did manage to find the Russian anthology sites, and I downloaded the first 5 games.
First on the docket, we have Len'en 1. From the instrumentation and the graphics, you can clearly see Toho's inspiration on the game. But it's not just a straight copy. The musical compositions sound pretty different, and the graphics have their own distinct style. Honestly, I kind of like this art style more than Zune's, save for one thing I'll get into later. When you dive into the game, you run into another difference: light mode. If you just want to see the story, then you can give yourself more resources to get through the game. I've always told people that simply reading a Touhou game story is not enough to get the full experience. You need to have the music and bullet patterns to go with it. But shmups are not everyone's cup of tea. I think offering an optional mode like this is good. Len'en also does something else unique for most Touhou games. You unlock characters. This isn't a photo spin-off or a versus game. This is a straight Danmaku shmup. But the system does play into the game's design, which I'll talk about a bit later. Yabusame is your starting character. For my playthroughs of Len'en 1 and 2, I did normal mode standard.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll pause to a bit explain it's not really casualification, but more accessibility. Because, well, since I'm that old, I do remember, or if you had been scrolling now the wiki, which I assume you did, because, well, that's how I learned a lot of information about Len'en, is that it used to be kind of like EOSD or old PC98 games, is that it didn't allow you to play on easy mode, just netting you a bad ending. Like, you could go through the full game, unlike EOSD or PC98 games, but you always guaranteed to have a bad ending. And after a while, Jinx decided to, with the updates, like, I don't remember, if I think it was Suzumi's update that brought it in, but he decided to leave those regulations and added the easy mode. That easy modes also nets you a good ending if you finish run with 1 CC. And later, he decided to add the light mode, which I'm not really sure why it came around, but maybe he felt like the games were too difficult, and admittedly for some Touhou fans, those games are difficult, but it's not really all that nails hard. Maybe because I got way experience, but it is helped me a lot having light mode, because again, I am a casual fan, so I don't have the high skills in Danmaku judging. Mhm.
Now for the actual main game, I'm not going to go over every single stage and character. Instead, I'm going to talk about gameplay in broad strokes. In Len'en 1, your default shot type is pretty fun. You've got a powerful homing shot and unfocused spread. The shot deals a lot of damage and ensures the stage sections are always manageable. On the topic of stages, something I liked about both Len'en games was the pacing of levels. No stage section feels like it goes on too long, which is an issue at least one stage in most Touhou games has. But shorter stages don't always mean easier stages. In Len'en, enemies are aggressive. In Touhou, you tend to go to the point of collection line to get a lot of items. You might want to in Len'en 1 and 2 because extra lives can be gained from score. Don't! Len'en's more aggressive enemies mean that it's almost always dangerous to go for the point of collection.
Yeah, I will agree that it is. The enemies are much more aggressive, but maybe because I'm playing on easy mode, so I can't really, let's say, if getting to the point of collection is hard or not.
So then to boss fights. In Len'en 1, almost
Also, I would agree that the stage sections don't really feel all that long. At least in Evanescent Existence, but those, like, I don't know if he played PPOC or not, but it does get a bit of an issue here, but that's kind of excused with the overall game design. like game being like this, not really the stages are themselves long, if you know what I'm saying.
All of the characters know each other. This is actually to the game's detriment, in my opinion. Toho characters tend to be met for the first time by the protagonist to force them to introduce themselves and their personalities in a natural way. In Len'en 1, you don't have this framing device, so you can't really gauge a character's personality that well. My main problem with the art also comes up with the boss fights. The proportions of the characters and their faces are extremely similar, perhaps even more so than Zune's. So, the designs kind of blend together in my mind, save for a few standouts like Subakura and their excellent hat. It's a weird case where I think the art looks nicer than Toho's, but leaves less of an impression. But what about boss gameplay?
Well, I would actually counterpoint this criticism because lately Toho started to get this issue too. Like, we get characters like Sanyo or Eneko, and they talk to our heroines, like they have been all too familiar with each other. And you're kind of just left like, what the fuck? Like, you could excuse it by, you know, no, mm, they are in similar areas, living areas, such as Enoko being in the forest of magic and Sanyo being in the mountain, but Len'en has a stronger case for it. Because, well, he probably missed the framing device, unfortunately, because, as Tsurupami states, they wanted to snag in only Tsubakura, but ended up snagging a lot more people, which indicates that those characters are quite familiar with each other to end up in the same place at the same time to be spirited away. Plus, it gets elaborated more later, such as, well, here, Kurohibi. Like it gets more elaborated on why they're much more fond of Tsubakura and kind of cold with Yapusame. Is that because Tsubakura is Kurohibi's creator? And, well, fucking majority of the characters are fucking siblings. What the fuck are you saying? Like, of course I would be familiar with each other, and since one of the siblings is familiar with one individual, they're more than likely to be familiar with that individual too. Like, the most, out of place character is Klaus. And, well, Klaus is a joke, And, well, with the art style, I don't know, I guess, at least in my eyes, because I am admittedly kind of biased, is that Len'en makes up for, not uniqueness maybe, but then again, he played the Len'en with a bit of an old art style, so Jin's kind of still finding the style, and it makes up with the emotions, because the emotions are portrayed much more clearly to me. Because in a lot of Toho games, characters have like 2, 3 emotions, maybe 4, or like maybe 5, but those are quite similar. But Len'en makes up for this. Like, the characters are much more expressive, I feel.
The boss fights are where Len'en's differences truly shine. Len'en's patterns involve a lot more gimmicks, which are a ton of fun. The fights feel a lot more creative than Toho's standard fare. You've got water attacks, playing around with flipping a canvas, a bad apple style beam, and more. It's all cool. Despite dialogue being somewhat lacking in my opinion, you get a great impression of characters through their fights. I might not remember Kuroji's words, but I will remember her flipping canvas attack fondly. The boss fights are also where you'll mainly use Len'en's different bomb system.
Also, a bit of a side note, well, 2 side notes actually, is that one, characters are technically genderless. But I can't really blame Megapig for this because, well, it is allowed to headcanon the genders upon yourself. But I feel like she should have accentuated this point more as to what makes Len'en different from Toho. And second of all, it's really awkward to hear that. You know, how fucking nasty Kurochi turns out. I literally made a fucking meme from this. Because, yeah, Kurochi in evanescent existence is more sane compared to later chapters. Like, they're straight up fucking a menace. And I love them for it. To be honest, I feel like this. I like this thing in Len'en. In Toho, all bosses have the same dumb motivation to fight. I don't like this asshole or my mistress said to beat your ass. Yeah. Imagine waking up being surprised by a notification of that video. Also, hi. I delayed the stream just to just to have a bigger turn up because it was supposed to be much more earlier. In Len'en, there's some vibe like, remember that chocolate cookie that you didn't share with me? I'm gonna beat you for that. Yeah, that's when Len'en shines the most in the character interactions. That's why reading Len'en dialogues is important, you know? I'm doing hand gestures like crazy, and my my PC doesn't fucking capture this. Sorry. Like, I'm having fucking Italian mode.
By grazing, you can build up a meter to charge a flash bomb. This doesn't cost a standard bomb, and instead just sets your meter back to 0. By using it, you can perform a tiny bomb to get out of a tight spot, and it doesn't count against capturing. By using it, you can doesn't cost a standard bomb, and instead just sets your meter back to 0.
But I don't know if he will elaborate further on that, but that meter is gathered through grazing, so there's a bit of risk-reward type of situation. You want to graze to fill up your flash bomb meter to use it later to flash bomb.
By using it, you can perform a tiny bomb to get out of a tight spot, and it doesn't count against capturing spell cards. It's a cool way to reward graze without being super
Oh wait,
integral
he
to
does
a normal
elaborate
run.
on that. I'm sorry, might be.
But also with bombs, we get a change that makes Len'en easier than most Toho games. Watch carefully. Did you see that? I did a death bomb, but the window was massive. Len'en gives a lot more leniency for bombs on death, which I actually like a lot. A bomb in Toho and Len'en is meant to be a screen clear resource. Losing all of them at once because of a first time pattern or stray stage enemy can feel frustrating. Here, you can still lose in that window, but it's much easier to save all your bombs. It's a great compromise in my eyes.
Yeah, that's also what, in my opinion, makes Len'en easier, or at least for those who aren't doing those challenges aren't like no hit. Because it gives a lot of leniency on bomb timing. Which, you know, as a person who started recently catching up to Toho, this feels very off, having no bomb window. Like, with exception of IN, and even then, it's IN, like the easiest game in the series.
The game also takes your new defensive options into account. Bullet patterns in Len'en can be wackier and more dense because of your bigger bombing window. You get a lot more PC98 core patterns. I mentioned that Jinx did those remakes before, and you can feel it in the game's design. There's a lot of patterns with bigger emphasis on fast-spawning bullets and dramatic ideas instead of focusing on visual spectacle like the Windows Toho games. I don't think either of these approaches are better than the other, and they instead stand strong as two separate ways to design a shmup. There's another element that makes Len'en 1 easier. Yabusame is kind of busted.
This is so fucking absurd to hear. You know, as a fucking Len'en fan. Hearing that Yabusame is busted. I mean, compared to Toho characters, yeah, they would be comparably overpowered. But then comes fucking... even EMC has Kuroji, which is notoriously good character here. And then we have Elmi, which has Yaorochi, Tsubakura, and maybe Saragimaru if you want to count them. And then goes BPLC and fucking gives us godsends like Hoaka and Sese. Like, Yabusame has always been a bit of a run-of-the-mill characters, like Reimu. Like, nothing too good, but nothing too bad. Like, it is convenient for the more inexperienced players, thanks to their homing capabilities and their straight shots. Well, wide shots. But still, holy shit.
They not only have great options for bosses and stages, but they also get 4 bombs per life. The difficulty of Len'en 1 and 2 with them is easier than the other characters, but it feels like this is by design. You can ease into Len'en games with Yabusame, and then go for harder challenges on the same difficulty with other characters. It's a more gradual curve versus raising an entire difficulty level. Len'en's difficulty with Yabusame is interesting. With standard Touhou mechanics, Len'en 1's difficulty would probably be up there with, say, Touhou 5 or 12. But thanks to the bombing system, I found this to be an easier shmup to 1cc than any of the main Touhou games. So if you're learning Touhou but can't get your 1cc yet, maybe try Len'en 1.
Yeah. That's what would I also say. Like, if you're not really that experienced with the shmups, you should try Len'en or Bullet Heaven 2. Like, those are pretty much beginner-friendly experiences. Plus, Len'en has gone a long way to give casual fans a way to experience the game and learn its mechanics. So, like, Bullet Heaven 2 is more of a, like, your first baby shmup. Because it's much more easier, And it's also easier if you're playing with a mouse. Mm-hmm.
Lastly, presentation and music. Len'en 1 is based on the premise of going through a weird dimension to find something. Characters each think the thing that they're trying to find is something different, so the mystery of the ultimate goal is pretty fun. There's cool backgrounds that are quite distinct. You go underwater at one point, and also enter a cyber world at another. The music's also enjoyable, but nothing's stuck in my mind quite yet. But I also start Touhou games the same way. I'm sure with more listens, I'll find some songs to love. But Len'en 1 overall, I really like it. It's got a nice bomb system, unique patterns, a fun shot type, and enjoyable presentation. I'd put it up there with the upper half of Touhou games. If you want to get into Len'en or play a fun Touhou-like shmup, then I highly recommend playing Len'en 1. It's a great game to start with if you like Touhou.
And Len'en 1 is also very good for the more conventional reason. Is that, with Touhou you get kind of confusion as to what game would you want to start with. Because there are a lot of options and neither of them sound too good in my opinion. Like, you can start with Touhou 1, going chronologically, but that would net you into a fucking whole different era, and second of all, it lets you into a whole different genre. Which is like, maybe you can start with Touhou 2, maybe, because it has much more convenient Damoku shmup appeal, and it does have some and you don't really have to know the first game to enjoy the second game. Like, maybe with exception of Mima's existence, but, Mima didn't fucking speak in the Touhou 1, so, you could start with Touhou 6, because it's, the start of the Windows era. But it's also kind of finicky because it is the first entry to the series to transition to Windows 1. And it has some quirks that are not really good. And also, likewise with Touhou 6, in Touhou PC98 games, you can see your hitbox. And I don't know if you can focus in Touhou 2. But yeah, you will slow down, but you can't see your hitbox at all. And well, again, UST has a lot of funny quirks that kind of ruin your experience for a bit, you know? And so maybe Toho 7 could be nice, but there are people who recommend the Toho 13, like Toho 8, etc., etc., but those don't feel like too good of entry spoils. Like, if you want to get into the gameplay, yeah, but if you want to get into the, the characters and lore, I don't think those are too ideal. Like, my choice would be either Toho 7 or Toho 2. Like, if you really want to get into the Toho PC98 era. Mima trend still haunts me, yeah. Yes, that's so cursed. Like, and also, fucking highly responsive to players is so cursed, my guy. So cursed. Like, I have those ideas for videos, but I can't fucking execute them because I'm too lazy and I'm too busy with shit. Because one of my ideas was just talking about how fucking cursed Toho 1 is. Because holy Jesus Christ, I don't feel like it's been talked too much about it. Like, it's so surreal, like, and some technical limitations that make the game even more surreal. And you're fighting a fucking Satan and Lucifer. Yeah, it's something that most people recommend. But again, as I'm a bit more lore driven, I would like to start from the most convenient place in chronologically speaking. Even though give to give credit where it's due, Ian's story is actually pretty decent. Like Kane's fight, well, dialogue at least versus Shine Team, actually caught me off guard with how good it is. Like, she has her own motivations. It's not like, oh, you're just in my way, get the fuck out of here, or, well, I'm showing my mistress. Like Howl said. Also, hi, Howl. Sorry for the late hi. But yeah, she has her own motivations, and not only she has her own motivations, those motivations are actually really plausible. Something that you actually agree with. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I got off track with why Len'en 1 is a great starting point. Is that because chronologically speaking, it is the first game. Like, you start with it and you get to know the characters, and then and then everything starts to make sense as you progress through the series. Mm-hmm.
Len'en 2, on the other hand, oh boy. Now, this game is not substantially worse than Len'en 1 or anything. In fact, Len might argue it's the better game. Remember what I said about characters already knowing each other in Len'en 1? That's gone in Len'en 2. Protagonists meet each character for the first time, which leads to proper introductions.
Also,
so the cast and
I
writing end up being more memorable.
Also, he kind of still misses the fact that, those characters were spirited away first. They didn't just, oh, let's go to fucking get you. No, they got spirited away by Tsurubami. And the Abusami, the reason why they even went to this place is that, they wanted to find their friend Tsubakura. And that's why they got enraged by this fake. Mm-hmm. But again, even so, I'm not really fond of EMC, if I'm gonna be honest, even though it has my fucking GOAT show. Again, give it credit, it does flesh out characters a much more. Not only we are more or less familiar with the characters already, but second of all, it kind of gives you the insight as to how they would act towards other people, that isn't their friend group. which is, something that I can give props for that. Even though EMC stories is pretty much kind of similar to Toho stories, and I don't really find Toho stories so already too enjoyable, or at least too interesting to care about.
The Lone Shark Bird Kiparu, for example. They speak with some business person bravado, and it's great. Subakura also gets to shine immediately, since they're playable from the start. They're probably my favorite of the Len'en characters so far. They act as if they're surrounded by idiots, as no one can keep up with their witty jokes. They also have a funny hat that I think can talk.
Unfortunately, it doesn't talk. And, well, how they would talk? It has no mouth, and it must scream. For all the grease and danger in Tsubaka's hair. Also, one thing that I noticed is that Tsubaka's hair is much more unkempt compared to Len'en 1. Like, in Len'en 1, their hair is much more straight and, cleaned up. But starting from Toho, блять, Len'en EMC, their hair is unkempt. Like, it could be because they're in Mugenri, and Mugenri isn't all that technologically advanced, so they can't fucking use the shower. I've been there. But it goes also be that, I don't have to keep up appearances so much, so, I'll just be like this. I am the head. I speak of to the. Oh, Zaro! Zaro! Zaro, hi! 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 Yeah, I was talking about hair change. Zaro! Zaro!
I also enjoyed the music and graphical presentation more in 2. The world of Mugenri is built up a bit more, so we have more cohesive locations. There's also more music tracks I found myself enjoying. This one reminded me of Cossack 2 from Mega Man 4. Away from presentation, what's different from 1? Well, first, you get 3 characters from the start. While the first game feels specifically designed around Yabusame's attacks, here, each character feels like they have strong and weak areas throughout the game. Yabusame is still the best starter character because of their 4 bombs, but they can't steamroll through like they sort of can in Len'en 1. This threw me off at first, but it was enjoyable switching between different characters after failed runs. With Subakura, I had to learn how to manage the stage sections since they lack range. This in turn improved my Yabusame runs. But that's another thing. Runs. In Len'en 1, I was able to get a normal 1cc on my 3rd attempt. Len'en 2 probably took me about 4 times as long to get a normal 1cc. 4 reasons, good and bad. I'll just get the bad out of the way first. This game is a lot more Len'en-y than the first one. This isn't always bad, but when it is, it stings. For example, there are 2 white flashes, which I won't show, that mess with visibility, and it's meant to be an obstacle. While forcing memorization is a new idea, it's not one I like with its in-game implementation. Difficulty, like this, puts people with light sensitivity issues at an unfair disadvantage. Since it's only in 2 sections and not crucial to the game, I don't think removing the flashes would bring any negatives. The other thing I don't like that this game does is...
But, again, I do agree that people with light sensitivity might not really enjoy this game, especially with how overall Len'en is comparatively much more dull compared to Toho. But I would voice my fucking criticism towards Toho! Yeah! Is that it has fucking lackluster visibility overall. Especially recent games. Especially Wily Beast and Weakest Creature. Like with those powered up shots, like yeah, those give you the power, but holy Jesus Christ, you can't see the fucking bullets at all, and it's all too distracting. And hell, I think like maybe my memories is failing me too much, but I would argue that Nemesis splashes are a whole lot worse. Like they're much more distracting, you know. And considering it's already placed on already kind of difficult pattern, it kind of worsens the enjoyment for me a lot. And again, like I said, recent Toho games, especially recent ones, suffer from general bullet visibility. And that's how what I can give Len'en props for, because their bullets are much more larger, are much more, you know, on contrasted maybe. Like they're much more bright, is what I'm trying to say. So you start seeing them much more easily, especially like with PPHC, there is third stage of Brilliant Route, and it's already a very bright stage. Like normally, like if it was a Toho game, the visibility would fucking suck. But with Len, it kind of makes it work. Like the bullets become straight up white a lot of the time, so you can kind of see them a lot. Plus, again, Len'en bullets are much more bigger, so you know. And it kind of if it wants to make a special visibility disadvantage, it kind of makes, you know, deliberately. Like Jinx wanted you to suffer, but with Zone, you know, he just kind of didn't see it through. I feel. Mm-hmm. Is he talking about lumen flashes? Maybe, maybe. Yeah, I love those fat bullets. Fat bullets are the future of Toho and every shmup. Hmm. Including invisibility, yeah. Yeah, just, like again, Megapig has a point. But I would argue Toho has it worse. Toho has it worse, man. Mm-hmm.
Ambush attacks. Enemies shoot fast and close, and sometimes you just aren't ready. So on your first few runs, you'll be met with cheap deaths. Those things are where the divergence from Toho makes the game worse in my opinion. But Len'en's differences also do bring.
But yeah, with that, yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree. Len'en is much more punishing for the first run. Especially it can be seen with Sanra's boss fight. Because, well, Sanra's boss fight literally forces you to move all the time. Because if you didn't know the gimmick, well, you're just fucking fucked. There goes your berries and maybe lives, you know? Late reply, but meanwhile, Rainbow Despawn from Friendly Fire. Ah, yeah. That's something that Jinx also tried to convey in his, you know, video series about teaching, you know, Danmaku players, which still hasn't gotten a second entry.
benefits. Patterns are once again diverse and come with unique ideas. You have bounding lasers. Haniwa way before 17 did it. A sword fight where a character cuts objects, and a whole lot more. The fights in this game are also harder, and I found myself utilizing the flash bomb mechanic more. The new ideas create a bigger challenge in Len'en too, but here, it's a good type of challenge. Once I learned the ins and outs of Len'en's flash bombs and standard bombs, I was having a pretty great time, and I did eventually get a normal 1cc. In that sense, overall, Len'en 2 does kind of feel like a better game. It uses the game's unique mechanics more than the first, does a better job developing the setting, and offers greater challenge.
Also, I fucking forgot. No. Is that Len'en 1 wasn't designed around flash bombs. Like, it's easy to forget that now. Like, I already fucking did. But Len'en 1 didn't have flash bombs. It's with Len'en 2 that flash bombs were introduced. That's why, EMC has a bit more difficulty, So yeah.
But because the first game is a bit more accessible and less chaotic with its ideas, I ended up liking Len'en 1 more. But you can't really go wrong with either. I say, start with 1, and then play 2 if you like it. Both of these are solid shmups. Time for Extra! Len'en features extra stages like Touhou, but it even has difficulty select. Easy Extra lets you bomb through spells and makes patterns easier. As I've never beaten a Touhou Extra stage, this is what I did. The Extra stage in 1 is pretty fun, but I especially enjoyed the Extra stage in 2. I think 2's Extra stage boss theme is my favorite song so far.
Ah, yes. The old veterans fan favorite.
Okay, so that's Len'en 1 and 2. While this is where I ended my gameplay, I did want to mention a few more things. Like Touhou, Len'en has policies in place that allow for derivative works, free or commercial. There's this cool game called Misremembered Memories on Steam that reimagines the Len'en 1 extra stage bosses as a PC-98 game. So like Touhou, Len'en's a sandbox for creators. Len'en the main series also gets pretty crazy. I think Len'en 4 has like a 3-minute dialogue section, Len'en 0 is a mobile game that plays completely differently, and I think there's a cafe, and there's also a Hifu-style album that dives into lore. So yeah, Len'en is a wild...
Well, it's not really 3 minutes, it's fucking several hours long. But yeah, here are some parting words. Also, I'm sad that he didn't mention Ermi. Ermi is actually kind of good. I realized that. Anyway, like, Minstrel section, he was probably talking about the tutorial. And well, Len'en 0, well, what C, well, it's dead. So, for those, for the highlights, for the awards, for the Touhou fans, don't fucking play it. And that's saying from this game's fucking landlord. I don't know. I don't know how to connoisseur. Yeah, connoisseur. From this game's connoisseur. And well, the hippo style lore, like maybe because he didn't really, he was taking those two games in a vacuum. He doesn't really, he speaks with some kind of uncertainty about the other games. But yeah, both C has a cafe section and a battle section, and hippo style story, which is, evolve, is kind of interesting because it's much more interlinked with the main story. Because our heroines are searching for our heroes, and it takes place after BPRC, the fourth game. And it brings up something quite interesting, considering there is an old MV made by Jinx that has an original Touhou style composition, Wings of Margaret. And many people were curious as to what was it about. But soon we got a revelation as to what the hell is this. So yeah.
series. My main takeaway is that Len'en is what non-Touhou fans think Touhou is. When you get into Touhou...
No! It's... No, if you are getting into fucking Len'en, it's not what non-Touhou fans think Touhou is, Non-Touhou fans think what Touhou is fucking cave games. Len'en is way too niche, that's the first, and Len'en has much more story drive, What non-Touhou fans would think about Touhou is something among the lines of cave games like Dodonpachi. Well, I said in the wrong way. Like, it's just a boss heart bullet hell. And Len'en admittedly, is not a boss hard bullet hell. So, you know. And since cave games aren't really known for the story, you know, it has a story and it is quite depressing. But it's not like it has dialogues too much. It has endings, but not dialogues too much, I feel. Like, maybe as a non-cave fan, I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, they also don't really expect that there would be you know, character developments, character interactions, you know. Len'en is crazy serious. Hell yeah, we got welcomes, infanticide, nuclear bombs, and Yabasami. Yeah. No, I'm not talking that Len'en is cave. I'm just saying that for non-Toho fan, Toho is like cave, but it's not like cave, you know? Considering cave is much more popular, or at least, you know, much more popular representative of STGs, so people kind of assume those games are both hard, you know? Considering cave games are card games and they're designed to suck out your money. Non-Toho fans don't even think Toho is a game. Yeah. They think it's an anime or just, you know, some funky music. But well, shit, I heavily disagree with that statement. I'm sorry. As a Lennon fan, no.
Things kinda normalize. But with Len'en's faster gameplay, weirder characters, and the general state of the series, it truly feels like you have no idea what to expect with Len'en. And you know what? I really liked that. I wasn't a Len'en fan before making this video, but now I am. So if any of this sounded interesting to you, please, go check out Len'en.
Alright, and that's it. That's for the review. And again, it is one of the better ones, considering we have already witnessed to the atrocity that is fucking Suwawako's Lennon review. Holy shit, that was a fucking disaster. Even though Suwako did dig a little bit more into lore, he got a lot of stuff wrong, you know? And it is a review in the sense that it is like person's first impressions, so they're not really all that knowledgeable about what the fuck is going on with Lennon, you know? Toho was saying, my life is a lie, yeah. When I first learned about Toho, I thought it was some JRPG from PSP. Oh yeah, that could be a confusion too, because well, Toho has a lot of fanworks, and by chance you already stumbled across this one. I also did one time. This is no red eyes that spoils entire Lennon plot. Sleepless Lennons? Um. I remember this guy. But I haven't watched his videos. I didn't watch. But, you know, since it is a very short stream, considering, well, we already streamed for an hour, and, you know, 1 hour olive streams are not acceptable by any margin. They should last for fucking eternity. But yeah, I do wish he kind of elaborated on lore much more, considering, well, Megapig is the kind of person that he is. But maybe when the eventual Len'en 3 and 4 review comes up, like, maybe he'll talk about lore much more, or maybe he will do Len'en 3 separately and then Len'en 4 separately, because, well, BBRC is a doozy, even fucking Len'en fans admit it. But yeah, also, so thanks, Gomblingon, for reminding me of this, because I also wanted to say that, is that thankfully he didn't fucking mention Tsudumi. Yeah. Talks about only the gameplay. Ah. Well, I'm not really all that interested in gameplay. I mean, I am kinda, but I'm not really all that into it. Like, I'm not really, admittedly, as a Len'en fan, I'm not really all that fond of Len'en as a gameplay series. Like, it is fun, but it's not something I want to return. Even with Toho games, I kind of want to, replay those, but with Len'en, I don't really feel like I'll play it, play with all the characters and just leave it. Like, for me, on gameplay sense, replay value, there not really too much of it. Don't know. Maybe it is my, well, not maybe. It is my subjective opinion. Mhm. And yeah, shoutouts to him for not mentioning Suzumi, because holy shit, that would be a fucking massive bombshell and not something that uh diehard fans such as myself would forgive at all. Like how Suwaoko offhandedly mentioned them as the iconic character from Evanescent Existence. Holy shit, that's so fucking funny. But he did say that he was recommended this game by his friends, by his artist, who I assume did the thumbnail art, which also kinda cute, but maybe it's too mimi. Maybe it's too mimi. Like Subakura has a fucking SpongeBob cap. And maybe they told them, hey, Megapig, don't fucking dare touch Suzumi. For crying out loud. So shoutouts to them as well. For warning Megapig, do not make the mistake that fucking Suwako did. So yeah. Should I or should I not? It seems he played the versions that didn't have Suzumi at all, but he did. He did play those versions. He said that on the video that he played the basic level normal mode. Those versions have Suzumi. Like the basic and light levels are very late additions to the classic games. So of course they would have Suzumis. And again, like on one hand, I am saddened that he didn't elaborate on lore, but on the second, he did avoid a lot of spoilers, like why they were spirited away, etc. But maybe he should have done a deep dive, like maybe spoil Tsurubami or at least allude to their existence. But maybe that's just my opinion. Again, something that makes Len'en so much worth it is story. That's my hot take, or well, maybe cold take, because well, a lot of Len'en fans think that story is what carries the series. Only he forgot, or someone told him not to mention them. Again, he mentioned his artist that recommended this game. So maybe they want him to not talk about Suzumi. Again, shoutouts to them. Shoutouts to them. No. At one point, no, it was not old. It was not old. You can see it here. You can see it clearly.
But the system does play into the game's design, which I'll talk about a bit later. Yabusame is your starting character. For my something else unique for most Toho games. I think offering an optional mode like this is good. Len'en also does something else unique for most Toho games. You unlock characters.
Like here he's well hovers over and locked Suksumi. Let's talk him. What good thing about Len'en is not having character like Akina, but well, Tsurubami is kind of Akina, Or at least Akina is the bootleg of Tsurubami.
Away from presentation, What's different from?
Well, you can see here. You can see here that there is unlocked Suzumi, or
One.
there's silhouette, I
Well,
guess.
first, you get.
Yeah, here, you can see it. You can see it. There is Suzumi. There is the fucking Suzumi. Should I watch Sleepless Nights videos? Maybe. Again, I'm not interested in gameplay, but I can give him a chance because, for his credit, to give him the credit where it's due, he actually continued playing Len'en. Because from Suwako, he kind of made those facts videos and just fucking dipped, you know? He didn't fucking play anything. And well, Megapig already said that he played only 2 games, which is, and well, he forms his first impressions, Like, yeah, it's like a first reaction to Len'en. Yes? Alright. Let's watch. Again, I'll do a highlight video once I'll do a decent progress on my science video. Because, again, when I was in Moscow, I was in kind of unproductive road, I could only draw, That's why I posted those images of me working on this model, which is still not finished, not by any means necessary. So,
So I'm just gonna cut right to the chase here. I know most of you guys found my channel through Toho. It's a game I probably can't escape at this point and frustrates the hell out of me. Yet it's also a game I hold very close to my heart for a multitude of reasons. It's a game that has taken me through hell and back, and around this time last year, I played it for the very first time, not knowing what was in store for me next. But anyway, I know you guys can read. You clicked on this video for a reason, and that reason is because we aren't playing Toho today. No. Today, my friends, we are...
He's it's also quiet for me. Should I increase the volume? Meme lore videos, yeah. We have to wait until April 1st of next year to review of the missing games. Maybe. Like, or maybe I should put the science video on hold and maybe use the scraps of my already kind of disbanded the Twatchamalog script of where to start with Len'en, or maybe retool it to, be a more rhetorical, like, which game should you play? Should you play with Len'en first, Len'en 2, Len'en 3, Len'en 4, and give all of the pros and cons of starting with them, And also, throw in the bit to not fucking play bot C.
Playing Len'en, a game heavily inspired by Toho and a game heavily recommended by my beautiful comment section. I've been wanting to try it out
Blue Pikmin. I do recognize them from some comment sections.
For a bit, but have just been putting it off. So I thought, you know what, let's just give it a shot today. I know a lot of you are probably thinking right now to yourselves, Sleepless, why don't you just play Toho? There's a game up ahead that we really want you to play. Well, my answer to that, dear viewer, is very simple. I can't beat the fucking game.
Same, dude, same. Can't fucking beat Toho for shit.
So before we get into the swing of things, I like to set a couple of things straight. Firstly, I'm going to be only covering one game per video. Those who came over from my Toho content are probably familiar with the format I've done there. Just covering multiple games per video. This time, I want to first go more in depth with the games and discuss them more thoroughly, considering there are way less Len'en games than Toho, and next, just be able to get them out more frequently. Hopefully every 1 or 2 weeks. Don't quote me on that, okay? Do not. Next thing I want to make clear, no, I am not going for 1cc, which also means I won't be playing extra stages. Now I know, boohoo, go laugh, but there is indeed a reason for this. It does pressure me reading through comments, expecting 1cc or asking for extra stage. Now, this is not really because my feelings are hurt or what, it's okay. You guys can say what you want in the comments, I don't really care. But as a content creator, obviously I don't want to disappoint my audience and only provide videos that satisfy you all, so yeah. The reason why it takes so long for me to get the Toho videos out is because even though I tell myself that I don't need the 1cc, it's always at the back of my mind and I always find myself trying to do it anyway. So yeah, just wanted to switch the format a bit for the Len'en series. The Toho series will remain the same, so don't worry about that and just simply enjoy this one. Oh, one more thing, I did add a bit of live commentary, but I didn't think of doing that till late in the recording, so sadly, you won't get to hear my reaction to the first 3 bosses. But god, I have rambled for so long now, I wouldn't be surprised if half the people clicked off the video at this point. But I'm done now, so let's begin. So upon starting the game, I was greeted by an all too familiar screen. Well, in fact, this game as a whole was all too familiar to me. Everything about Len'en gameplay-wise is pretty much exactly the same as Toho. Everything from controls, level design, and mechanics are identical to what Toho had to offer, so there was little to no adjustment need for me to play the game. Of course, it's not 100% the same, and there are some minor changes in mechanics, most notable thing being flash bombs. You get this meter on the bottom left of your screen that fills up over time, and when you bomb while on focus, you get a flash bomb. What this does and how it's different from a normal bomb is that the duration is lessened by quite a bit, but it doesn't get rid of the spell card bonus during bosses. That, and I don't think it actually consumes a bomb, but I'm not so sure on that because I barely use them. And whenever I did, it was completely an accident anyway. If I were to say one thing about this game though, is that it definitely felt harder than Toho. Now I don't know if it's just because it's been a bit over a month since I've touched Toho or just the bullet patterns being different. Or maybe I just suck, I don't know. But goddamn, the bullets in this game are fast. They catch me off guard so much. In Toho, most of the bullets move at slower speeds, and even the faster ones give you time to react. But in this game, oh my god, the projectiles just get barfed directly at your face with no warning. Another thing that messed me up in this game are the death animations. More often than not, I would die twice in a row just because the animation is so goddamn unnoticeable. It's really hard to tell when your iframes disappear after taking a hit. So a lot of the time I just sit in the middle of a wall of bullets like a dumbass thinking I'm still invincible when I'm really not. Now again, I don't know if this is just me being stupid or this happens to other people as well, but either way, this is my only big nitpick with the game.
Well, yeah, admittedly, you are stupid. You should fucking move! You should fucking move. Not fucking standing like a dumbass. Like again, he is a bit of a novice, so I can forgive that, even though it has been 11 months. But still, holy shit, no, you should fucking move. Now! Especially it comes up in the fucking Sana stage. Holy shit, you have to move a lot. I still have fucking PTSD from Sana's fight. Oh, holy Jesus Christ. Anyway. Also, is that he didn't elaborate like Megapig did? Again, maybe I'll cut up the words for my highlight on reacting to Sleepless as well. Because again, he seems actually quite enthusiastic and something that I really like. And yeah, he again, Flashbang fuels its meter by grazing. So again, there is a risk reward. Like you could graze some dangerous bullet patterns or lasers to fill up your gauge faster, or just play normally and just wait for the gouge to full up.
Now, the stages in this game aren't too bad. Again, there's some fast goddamn projectiles, and some of them definitely take me by surprise, but nothing really terrible. There's really no stage that gave me any problems, and I'm not even sure if I took any hits in the stage excluding mid-bosses. They definitely don't do anything on the same level as something like Mountain of Fate Stage 4, for example.
Shit. I would die. It unlocked a traumatic memory for me. I tried beating Moev, but Kanako fucking bet me.
I don't have a lot to say about the stages. Now again, you can pin this on me for brute force if it continues, but I did the same thing with Toho 6 to 10, and I still had a lot more to say about the stages there. I don't really want to say the stages here are lackluster, but it's more just that they don't pull anything I haven't already seen before. What did take me by surprise though are the bosses, and oh boy, let me tell you all about them. So as I said, the stages really didn't give me any issues at all, so you're probably wondering why I don't just go for 1cc at this point. Well, that is because the bosses beat me in the goddamn ground, for goodness sake. The bosses are hard in this game. I don't know if it's just because it's been a while since I played the shoot 'em up or because I'm just bad at these games, but Jesus Christ, even just the stage 2 boss was enough to vibe check me. Anyway, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves
Yeah,
here.
it Len'en is infamous for grabbing your nuts tightly as early as stage 2. Like, we have a OG who, like, I didn't personally find them all that challenging, but can throw you off guard. Like, especially this spell card, I don't fucking. I forgot its name. But then there is my Goat Show, and Goat Show will ram your ass without loop, despite them being a walking lubricant. Like, holy shit. I don't know what the fuck was Jinx thinking when designing show, because how the fuck do I dodge every single shit that's thrown by this cute, adorable little slug? Like, they can fucking corner you easily. And some of the patterns are just fucking bullshit. Like bumper shoots from BPHC and slug crossroads from both games. And then there's Sugumi. Like, Sugumi is kinda you know, they're kind of a nothing burger, to be honest, and the majority of fans kind of agree that yes, they can throw you off guard, but they're not really all that difficult compared to AOG. And especially show, but oh god, second stage bosses in BPOC, oh yeah, boy, baby. Kujiro hits you with fucking cold with homing lasers that come straight for your fucking ass, and Medius is way too fucking fast and can corner you also pretty easily, at least in my experience. For some reason, I found Medius much more tougher than Kujiro for some reason. Oh, that OG spell is easy. Like, if you know what you're doing, yeah, it is easy. It's just, well, if you don't know how to maneuver the spell cards, yeah, it can throw you off guard. Is he doing a lot? Maybe, I don't know. Так. Let me read the chat. It's always funny to see people struggling on attack you can't clear without moving. Yeah. Well, watching is dead with hard, walking lubricant, plastic water. How the fuck am I supposed to do that? Like, those are kind of, there are dips, and at least Aoch is kind of readable, at least on lower difficulties, like on normal and easy. But holy shit, shows is just this phrase, but spread out across their whole fucking boss fights.
Here, I like to go through all the boss one by one, so let's start with stage 1 boss Kurohebi. Now, I wouldn't say that Kurohebi is a hard boss, not by a long shot, but are they a hard stage 1 boss? Hell yeah, they are. For stage 1 boss, their patterns are incredibly dense. I don't know if this is gonna be a recurring theme in these games or what, but their spell cards already cover most of the screen on normal. Their shots aren't that simple to dodge either. They throw
Yeah, it is a recurring theme that even always like first stage bosses will cover the whole screen. And honestly, I actually kind of prefer it this way. It kind of makes first stage boss much more memorable than, in Toho, it kind of feels much more empty, especially on lower difficulties. Again, I'm a casual fuck, so So the first stage bosses kind of end up unmemorable to me in the gameplay sense. Like, they're just way too easy.
a mix of aimed and random projectiles that can both come out decently quick, so you already have to be focused on the game even for stage 1. Being a stage 1 boss though, of course, they don't have too many gimmicks and complicated patterns, it all can be dodged with simple reaction. The only gimmick they really have was this shadow thingy that makes most of the screen dark, but it doesn't really change anything when you tunnel vision on your character anyway. I don't think I ever took a hit on their fight, but it definitely set the bar for boss difficulty in my eyes. Now for the stage 2 boss, oh gee, god damn, I got my cheek.
Also, again, remember that I brought up visibility with Megapig's complaints about, flashing lights? Well, 2 flashes of light? Well, again, in my opinion, Len'en does it purposely, and it's not better, and it's better demonstrated than in Kurohibi's boss fight, because their spell background is already pretty dark, especially compared to some other characters like Hibaru's. Hibaru's spell background is pretty bright in my eyes, and since they already have this shadow gimmick, it kind of, no, makes them a bit more challenging than they would be, And well, it's also seen much more clearly in BPOC, where the shadow mechanic is kind of reworked. It seems to make the boss fight a bit more harder for the eyes. If it's hard, they should try the demos. Oh god, demos. Oh god.
Peak spread for this one. Those of you who have watched my latest solo video will already know this, but I'll repeat it for those new here. I hate curvy projectiles. And guess what this boss has? I don't know if this boss can be easily routed or something, because I never bothered learning any routes, but goddamn, I have a lot of trouble doing some of their patterns.
Yeah, it is easily routed. Like you just have to do is be on your toes, like relatively be on your toes, and just not fucking panic. Like they can overwhelm you, but it's nothing compared to all the bullshit that you'll face later on.
In fact, that goes for most bosses in this game, but I digress. Their spell cards are hard to deal with, and they have a lot of different projectiles they throw at you. Again, they're very dense for a boss that comes up this early, and you really don't get a lot of wiggle room during them. Like their last spell especially just gives me Byakuran flashbacks, dear god. Overall, this is a pretty tough boss, and they can honestly pass as a Toho Stage 5 boss in my book. The next boss, Tsubakura, I think is very cool. Firstly, I would just like to talk about the aesthetic of the fight. I'm a huge sucker for monochrome designs. My favorite color is black, so I'm a really big fan of the way the boss is presented. Gameplay-wise, they're not too hard. I'd honestly argue they're easier, or at least on the same footing as OG. They do have a lot of very fast spells. A lot of them shoot directly at your face, but I really only had trouble with 2 spells. First one being this spinny flower move they do. I understand how to do it, it's just hard and requires a lot of really tight macro dodging. Almost feels like a harder version of Show spinny lasers from UFO. The other one I have trouble with is this one where they spam the screen with black bubbles. Now, I don't know if this is a static pattern or what.
Well, it's actually I would argue this spell card is the easiest one, but let him cook.
But I don't know if you're supposed to safe spot it, or you just gotta pray to Jesus that you dodge these, because I have no idea how you're supposed to get out of this without bombing. All of their other spells are simple enough though.
Well, this blackout spell card is actually very easy. Again, you don't have to panic. Again, I also didn't understand what the fuck should you do that, but once I realized, it becomes laughably easy. Again, yeah, I would agree that Tsubakura in some regard is even easier than Aoji. So in Blackout, what you're supposed to do, you should, dodge this homing trail and then just stop moving at all. It's kind of made you to spook you. But in actuality, it's not really all that hard. You just have to not panic, not be dumb. And with that flower thingy, yeah, I can agree. But I faced much more atrocious version of that. And that's from fucking Tatsuya from Mukai. Also play fucking Mukai. I swear to god. Play Mukai. Play Mukai from Pop Fan. From Lettergate, Renegade. I forgot the circus name. But anyway, play Mukai. I swear to god. Play Mukai.
Most of them are just flaming spells, so nothing too difficult. The stage 4 boss, Hoaka, I don't want to say was underwhelming, but they were definitely the most forgettable in the game for me. They do have some interesting spells, don't get me wrong, like this one, where they summon a wall of bullets. What the okay. Oh my god, how do you do that? But the last spell was pretty fun to do as well, but other than that, if I wasn't rewatching the footage as of writing this, I would have definitely forgotten what they even threw at you. Some of the stuff they pull once again did catch me off guard, but that's just because they throw the balls directly at your face as per usual. Oh that's something. But yeah, I really don't have much to say about this boss other than they were simply okay. However, the next boss, oh my god, the next boss is crazy. Oh, what the hell? It's like a double dealing character all over again. Oh my god. So yeah, like I said there, this boss, Koroji, is like the love child of Reisen and Seija. Instead of flipping your screen around, they flip the bullet pattern around, and it makes for some crazy spells, some of which are incredibly satisfying to dodge. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm kind of a beast for that one. The one thing though that makes this boss stand out the most for me is this absolutely insane knife spell they do. Take a look. Now I have no bombs for this last spell card. I think it's the last one at least. Oh my god, what the hell? Stop! What'd I do there? Well, Sakia never did that to me, what the hell? So yeah, this boss slaps pretty hard. What can I say?
It's surprising to me that Kuroji is considered memorable by already 2 people in a row. Which, well, at least in my experience, they didn't really felt all that memorable. Like, their flipping mechanic, I would argue, is much more readable than Sage's. Like, Sage's screws over your UI, but Kuroji just flips your shit. She flips their shit, I mean. So I didn't really felt too much impressed by it, even when I first played the game, you know? But here's some funny things that I want to mention. Is that even though it's not an original pattern like End End, I was playing with my friend Calamity this day, and we were beating Sinus on Infernum. Which, well, word of advice: don't play Infernum on multiplayer; it will screw you over. But yeah, we were playing, playing against Cygnus, and one of his attacks, like, it felt like fucking Kuroji's reference. And it doesn't have that. Cygnus also has purple cape, you know?
And now for the final boss, Wilhelm. They're pretty insane, if I do say so myself. Oh, it's pushing me down. What? Okay. So as you can see, this boss has some sort of gravity magic or whatever, and they can absolutely mess you up with it. Ripping a page out of...
Why Infernum for the first time? No, we were playing a lot of vanilla Calamity, and with the super boss like this Astral Gilden. Well, basically the cooler slime god is what I'm trying to say. And it's just our first time playing Infernum. Well, theirs not really. They played Infernum quite a lot and they thought it was kind of decent. Well, not really decent in terms of quality, it was decent in terms of difficulty. Like, they didn't feel like Infernum is much more harder. Even though for me, bosses screw my ship all the fucking time. But again, I suck at this game.
Of one of my most beloved Toho bosses. Oh, she's pulling me in this time. Stealing Oku's move. I see. What I really like about this boss is that the gravity magic also affects the projectiles. They can kind of toss their projectiles around the screen and redirect them. It really reminds me of someone like Rachel from Blaze Blue, or maybe Syndra from League of Legends. I can say though, even if I was brute forcing my continues, their last spell was still incredibly intense for me. They place this black hole in the middle of the screen and just start spinning projectiles everywhere. I think the footage speaks for itself here, so I think I'm just gonna let it play out for you guys.
Oh yeah, that was intense for me too, because I was in this same situation myself. When I was once seeing Len'en on basic mode. And I know it's easy mode, but still, I was in this fucking situation just because I forgot how to react during Kuroji's boss fight, and they fucking ate away at my life, so I was very thin on the final stage. And I was sweating like fucking god. And now you're watching Sleepless. We already watched Megapig and I already made my commentary on it. It's just I was suggested Sleepless. I didn't really have interest too much because it is more gameplay oriented. But you know what? It's actually very entertaining. Even more entertaining than Megapig's, actually. like again, Megapig did give a bit of an overview. Like he didn't really go into that deep when talking about boss fights, but holy shit, Sleepless Nights actually very enjoyable. Kind of reminds me of Real Valete. Oh god, I wonder if there are any Russian speakers in my chat, because holy shit, ох, боже мой, я давно не смотрела Валете. Ох, ох, ох. Мне кажется, он уже это сдался на Ленине, к сожалению. Reviewers, both said it's better than Sledger bullshit mechanic. I think Kurochi's gimmicks much more better than reversing your fucking control. Yeah. Sledger just flips your UI and UX. No, well, not really UX, but your controls as well. Kurochi is much more straightforward in that regard. Oh yes, well, gave me a panic case smash, yeah.
Okay, well, let's continue. Let's not choke. And yes, I hear you guys complaining in the comments. I am not once seeing this right now. Unless you want this video to take another 3 months to come out.
Real Valeta, I heard his
Oh my
name
god, please don't.
long time ago.
Don't be stupid, please. Yeah, that was.
But he's again a mostly calm guy that is very interested in super anime style everything, I guess. Kurochi does a flip and Seiya flips you off. Yeah. And yeah, at the to explain who the fuck is Real Valeta is, he's a Russian Toho YouTuber who is actually really good and makes quite a quality content, and he does videos like Sleepless Nights. And he not only talks about gameplay but also story as well, like what the fuck happens in Toho. So in that regard, he's the best Toho reviewer out here, which kind of makes it a shame that he is locked behind a foreign language, because well, he's Russian, and I in previously I was in his streams before on my old account, personal account as well. And his streams are also a joy to watch. Like, I suppose he's like the only streamer I actually give a shit, ironically. If it isn't obvious, he plays a lot of Toho-related stuff, so seeing Toho fan is genuinely cool, I guess, goddamn. Sleepless is just a fun dude who's very enthusiastic in trying out new games. Yeah, I also get that vibe. Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I like that. That was an interesting game. Yeah. Definitely gonna just before I'm gonna say this before any of you guys say this down there. Definitely gonna go back. Maybe in my spare time, either in spare time, maybe on stream or something. I haven't done any streams this year, unfortunately, even though I promised. But I will be one day seeing this most likely. One of these days. Not now though. Not now. Not for this video. Definitely. Bad end. Yes, thank you. I know. I need to put on my big boy pants and beat it with no continues. I know. And there you all have it, the first Len'en game. The me in the footage kinda already said it, but of course, I will be going back to this in my free time to 1cc and stuff like that. All the stuff I did here was purely for the video and just to experience the game for the first time. I'm super excited to check out the rest of the games, and I really hope you all stick around for those as well. I know I make a lot of comparisons to Toho, but I guess you all are already expecting that anyway. But as a game though, I would say Len'en is a pretty fun one. Without making any comparisons, I think it holds its own, and I think it is genuinely fun, and I definitely see myself playing this from time to time in the near future. The bosses have their own unique quirks and are mostly pretty memorable to me. The mechanics are simple yet solid, and there isn't really anything in the game that frustrates me a whole bunch. I think this first game is a very solid starting point, and it definitely set my expectations for the rest of the series. But yeah, that's really all for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, yada yada, you know the drill. Anyway, till next time, thanks for watching.
Holy shit. I didn't fucking expect to actually really like this review. I actually like it more than Megapig's review, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, I guess it helps that Sleepless Nights is less familiar with Toho as a whole. Like, he doesn't really like delve into the lore too much, and so he isn't really that, how do I say this? Like, I'll Google something. Let's. I I forgot this word in English. I'm sorry. Так. Предвзято на английском. Biased, prejudice, yeah. He doesn't seem all too biased and prejudiced like all those who are familiar with Toho project much more intimately. So that's why I feel like he kind of enjoyed Len'en much more. So let's go ahead and watch all of those the rest of the three classics also. Shout out to him for playing Elmi. Like, again, Elmi is where Len'en takes off massively, you know? Alright, let me pull the screen back again.
Well,
Alright. I don't think he'll play bot C. Again, it doesn't seem to be his kind of thing, you know? Alright, it's visible, it's visible. It's just my stream kind of lags on my phone, which is, I assume that's what is the case for you guys, so you know. Wait, he translated, he didn't, that's why he didn't load with no, yeah, it's more gameplay based, but it's much more fun to hear about his, first impressions, yeah. He's still ongoing. Please warn him to not play bots. Yeah. Funny enough, him starting Toho is sort of a start of his hobby of drawing as well. And you definitely notice the improvement of his thumbnail art. Oh wait, he drew it himself? Holy shit! He's so good! What the fuck, he's so good! I thought he pulled some quality fan art from some site, but no, he fucking drew it himself! Holy shit, I would say this is one of the best Len'en fan art I have ever seen! Holy Jesus Christ! Oh my god! His art is so good! I'm definitely going to repeat into two highlights and just shout out Sleepless Nights. Your art is so fucking great! Like, I really love his rendering style. Holy shit. Oh. You never noticed that? No, I thought he just pulled from an artist. Oh. Holy shit. Holy shit. He should about mostly. Only, yeah, but you know, him trying out Len'en is actually kind of surprising. And I suppose we can thank Blue Pikmin for that because I think Blue Pikmin also suggested Tsuwaoko to make that atrocious Len'en video, which is again, like, it is atrocious, but it's still like a Len'en video, which is not, you know, not banning this game and crossing its fucking existence for being boring, for being non-binary, and you know, the shit. And it is quite popular, like, it has 20k plus views, which is a lot considering, you know, how niche Len'en is. He has great art, especially like the third mount drawing. Let's a fucking go.
well, it has been a while. A couple months ago, I decided to check out a certain shoot 'em up game by the name of Len'en. I thought it was pretty fun, and it was a pretty solid game if I do say so myself. That is why today we are jumping right back into the swing of things. Should I have done this video sooner? Maybe, but either way, I'm here today to bring you all along on a ride. I won't dilly-dally the intro like I usually do since I know what you're all here for. This is my first experience playing the second Len'en game, Earthen Miraculous Sword. So I just want to preface things by saying I'll be switching up the format again slightly for this video. If you all came from my last Len'en video, you'll know that I decided to tackle the bosses one by one. I won't be doing that this time, and I'll get to why later. On the other hand, we'll be going through my very first run of the game before I give my full opinion and overall thoughts, so here we go. I decided to run with Kuroji. I don't know if they're particularly good, but they're new playable characters, so I thought why not. I don't really have much to say about Stage 1, to be completely honest. The mechanics are pretty much exactly the same as the first game. You have your normal bombs and your flash bomb. There's this flower thing on the side that multiplies score, but it was obviously pretty useless to me. The Stage 1 boss, like the last game...
Yeah, it is useless to low skill players, but it is useful for one thing, and that's the special boss fight, and that special boss fight is Tasuken. Also, the reason why mechanics don't seem to change a lot is because, well, Evanescent Existence didn't have flash bombs, so you know, back then, and flash bombs came in the second game. Also. What was I trying to say? Ah, yeah, Kuroji is good in EMC. That's the thing. But they fell off really hard. Maybe it's for the war crimes in EMC, but that's way too much of a nerf, my man. If you know how to play, yeah. Yes, Loco at least gives it a chance and elaborates, like certain equal essays. Oh, you mean Sunrise? Yeah, he probably just decided to, no, I'm not going to go here after having a flock of Len'en fans go into his Dorimi zone and we're like, what the fuck, that's dungeon sim, what the fuck? He has Pixie, here you go, and if it makes you any better, it's SFF, a safer walk. Well, I don't really use Pixie. In fact, besides YouTube, I don't think I use any of the social media because it stresses me out a lot. Even though technically I can kind of get away with using Pixie, but don't know it. Wait. I remembered why I don't really want to use Pixie. It's region blocked. It's region blocked for me. I have to use VPN to get the shit done. Like, for some reason, Pixie Fanbox isn't, but Pixie itself, yeah, it is region blocked, as far as I'm aware. Or maybe I logged in on it in the worst time possible that I had a lot of error messages. The bomb has tons of damage. It also inspired one of the spells for E. Everyone lost 2 death requests, for fuck's sake.
It's a lot harder than what I'm used to with Toho. There's some streaming patterns, relatively dense random shots, and just stuff you wouldn't normally expect from a Stage 1 boss, but overall, it wasn't too bad.
The Stage 1 bosses are a lot more menacing than I remember them being.
Where this game's difficulty really spikes though is Stage 2.
Oh, that's the goat time. The goat time.
Stage 2 is hard. Now again, I'm probably just bad, but god, these patterns are dense. I guess my words from last video talking about lackluster stages somehow reached the past because they went ham with these stages. The enemies still shoot very fast bullets, but they move in really weird ways in this game, making it pretty hard to actually shoot them down. Stage 2 boss doesn't get any easier as well. As you can see, they throw my absolute worst nightmare at me. Curvy, goddamn projectiles. And I really wasn't having it. I don't like the way these are moving. Stage 3 felt...
Oh, he didn't mention the epic slug crossroads. But here is something that you may have noticed. with their boss fight. Especially if you played B pure C first like I did. Oops. Is that bamboo shoots are actually much more how do I say this? Bearable in this. Because it has massive safe spot on both sides. Like you just keep to the the end of the screen, either left or right, to not really touch the streaming bullets, and then you can just hit them. Like maybe if you're not Tsubakura, but yeah, with our блять Aochi, what the fuck do I mean Aochi? Kurochi and Yabusami, it is fucking easy, especially with Yabusami because they have homing. Although it sucks at range, it's mostly useless because they're going out of the boss activate do something in its death wish. Pixel shouldn't have any region lock issues, but it does have content in need region lock based on person's country of origin. Why would they do this? I don't know. Well, I am Russian, so the reason should be really fucking obvious. Like, you have to be under a fucking tank under a fucking bunker to, not know why Russians are not allowed to do anything.
A lot more manageable to me than stage 2, both the stage and the boss. The stage was still pretty hard, if I'm being completely honest, but stage 2 was really just something else. The boss for the most part is pretty easy, save for a couple of spells that I have trouble with. There's a lot of phases and the fight is pretty long, but overall it's nothing too bad. Stage 4 unsurprisingly ramps up the difficulty even more. The projectiles are lightning fast, seem to be pretty random, and cover most of the screen. Like stage 2, the enemies move really weird and are very hard to catch, so I ended up dealing with a lot more bullets on my screen than what I would have preferred. What the fuck? Stop! I eventually got way too overwhelmed with all the junk on my screen and ended up biting the dust once I reached the boss. And then I cracked. Yes, go laugh at me in the comments or whatever you guys do, but the rest of this video will be in fact played on the light difficulty, meaning I get a lot more resources to work with. From what I know and what seemed to be the case, light mode doesn't actually affect the difficulty of the patterns at all. It just gives you more room for error with the resources, so yeah, there's my excuse. Anyway, let's talk about the game. It's hard. Now, it has been a couple months since I last played Len'en, but there is no doubt in my mind that the stages in the game are at least twice as hard as the ones from the first game. I seem to be getting walled constantly, and like I said, the bullets move at light speed and come out of nowhere. Every bullet just gets barfed at you, and I mean literally barfed. Just entire super dense walls show up out of thin air, and I really struggle to keep up sometimes. Does the increase in difficulty make the stages more fun for me? No, not really. In fact, the stages feel just as lackluster as the first game. A lot of patterns are repeated, and it just feels like I'm playing through the same stage throughout the entire game. It kinda just felt like they made stage 6 and decided to use that same level for the other 5 stages. I read in the comments that the person behind Len'en, Jinx, cannot make stages for the life of them, and I can definitely see that being the case.
But by the way, when you do not play the also so okay, it's a rate spike. Play Suzumi House unless you don't care about the stories as they take place after the fourth game in lore, and everything is connected to the story of this for this case. Even the trash can that you learn about when you decide to watch all Raycon channel videos, because the brain rot hits too much to tease to have some importance to its feel. Yeah, the stages are a meme in Len'en. Jinx cannot make a good stage. If you instant kill, you win half of them. If you play Tsubakura, you can fight Ibusami like in Toho 4-8, where MC swap places. Something like that happens in 3. Yeah, and it is quite like not really the Len'en as a whole. Like it is Len'en as a whole, but EMC is especially infamous for its stage design. Holy shit, I did not enjoy playing this game at all. And it is a common consensus that this game is not really all that pleasant, you know? I like Lumen spell for some reason. Like all Lumen stage 3 spells, but the first one was cool. This snipes you with the colorful bullets.
The game overall is just way harder than the first one. The mechanics are exactly the same, but they really wanted you to have a bad time with the patterns. Even as much as I hated UFO, I feel like I had a much easier time dealing with the stages there. Now, I don't know if I'm just being a big baby or whatever, I probably am being one, but I really feel like the stages are a bit overkill in this game. Even just looking at stage 2, you can probably tell it's pretty tough. I don't think I made it through a single stage without bombing, and if it wasn't for light mode, this video would have probably never come out. Anyhow, I've ranted about the stages for way too long now, let's talk about the bosses. Now, if you remember in the intro, I mentioned that I wouldn't be discussing the bosses one by one this time, and that is actually because I think the bosses are a lot weaker in this game. In the first game, all of the bosses were pretty unique. They all had some sort of gimmick to set them apart from one another. In this one, they felt a lot less memorable to me. Now keep in mind, I'm not saying they're bad. In fact, I think they're pretty comparable to majority of the bosses from Toho. It's just that the first game set a really high standard for bosses in my opinion that this game sadly wasn't able to deliver on completely. Off the top of my head, I could really only remember what 2 of the bosses did. I remember stage 5 boss because of these weird Walter things they spawn on the screen, and the other boss that sticks out to me is the stage 6 one because I thought the slicing gimmick was pretty cool overall, and they had this attack. Not choke, please.
Oh! Oh no, flashbacks. Oh, those fucking flashbacks. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Not this game. Not the spell. Not the spell. Please. Please. For someone who loves playing visual novels, I thought he'd be more interested in the story. Well, from Toho, it felt like well, at least like from the way he presented them, he is more of a, like with Toho and Shmup specifically, he is more interested in the gameplay. But yeah, I think he should have, downloaded EN patch for at least, He should do a lot with so much trauma.
What am I supposed to do? What is a man to do against that? Oh god, what? What do you do against that? Again, I don't think the bosses are bad. In fact, I had next to no frustration with any of these bosses.
I had a lot of frustration with these bosses. Like, June is actually kind of fine, and the spells and the patterns are actually pretty cute. Like, holy shit, BPRC did them so dirty. But holy shit, Show, at times Hibaru, Sukune, and especially Yaoroshi, holy shit, they gave me such a bad time. Especially this spell card. Not this spell card, you know the one. That's why, like, EMC is my least favorite of Len'en games. In fact, it could count as my disliked game. My only disliked game. Because, well, the story, again, isn't all that strong. In my opinion, like, it gets strong with Adogomo siblings, but, we already have that in Toho, like, compelling sibling relationships, and, more general storyline. And that's something I wanted to escape from. And, the gameplay being, well, this. Right, go up here. You have to top the snake. Oh, really? Maybe I'll try to play EMC once more in my free time, like when I'm bored. No frustration. Sleep is the calmest Shmup player. Like, if I remember, he's more interested in Toho and Len'en in its games than its story, probably due to its genre association, and considered the Lord Goblin for probably for the best. Well, maybe for Toho it's for the best because I didn't like Toho's lore. Like, I tried to get into it, and I ended up massively disappointed by it. Like, it's so, like, generic. Like, maybe for its time it was good, but it's too generic, too vague, too, kind of Sublime. Not sublime. Sublime means something much more cooler than that. Let me. How do I fucking say this? Like mid, but yeah, sublime means it means a good thing, but I don't have too much good things to say about Toho actually regarding to its lore. I enjoy Toho more for the gameplay actually. I legit went up there, even if it was translating, it made things easier. He's a visual novel fan. He needs all patiences he needed for all those type of games. Reading non-stop, which that requires a lot of patience. But visual novels are kind of the same. They also require a shit ton of reading. No, in fact, in visual novels, you do nothing but read and click and maybe make choices, and that's it. In vacuum. Isn't that kind of, the whole point? I think he'll just weather through it easily. Especially with how, Toho, блять, not Toho. I don't like Toho lore. With Len'en, like, the dialogues are pretty fun. Like, a lot of fun, and the exposition dumps are conveyed much more naturally. In fact, like, I feel like Megapig will criticize Len'en for its massive dialogue, but I would say that it works kind of in its favor a little bit. Or at least it does it light, Because, well, with games it's a lot of dialogue. The dialogues feel like more like exposition dumps, and no one enjoys that really. But with Len'en, it doesn't feel like that. The characters don't spit out information after information without any kind of flair. Like, it's actually characters interacting for once, Something that I felt like with the stories like Genshin Impact or HSR. Like, I bet there would be a cool stories, but I don't like how exposition dumpy they felt. And a lot of fan games. Toho fan games, holy shit, those feel like exposition dumps after exposition dumps after exposition dumps. Is there patience enough to wait for a yield, or will punch the monitor if the repair cost isn't too much? Maybe, I don't know. I am a quite modest visual novel fan, like I can enjoy those type of games, but I don't know. Like, again, reading is just their whole shtick. Reading 20 hours just would feel like nothing bugger. Toho lore is more like reading history than reading story. Yeah. Reading history is pretty good. Look at Armored Core, but the issue with Toho is that Zune is not a writer, yeah. And especially it's visible with, foil detective Satari. Or foul. Because, well, he tries to make it a bit suspicious, high tense, etc. But it all kind of makes cringe. Like, Mizuki gets some powers out of nowhere, and you don't know what the fuck characters' motives are a lot of the time. Like, holy shit, I got so frustrated with this manga, holy shit. Toho fights usually take around 10 minutes to beat, but the dialogue takes 30 minutes in BPRCGs. Yeah, but again, the dialogue in BPRC is so good. It's actually pretty good. Especially, when you learn how to read and, realize those are interactions. He writes characters in same template often. Character-related stuff is usually mentioned offhanded. That Kinsoki as a whole is a writer's fucking nightmare. Status quo will always return back, because if it doesn't, then wouldn't it be a good Dojin series, wouldn't be? Yeah, I agree. Like, he always has this template. And again, you reminded me of a video idea that I have in how emergency every day subverts the typical Toho formula. And maybe I should make this my first essay video. Like, I feel like this would be easier to make, you know? And I have like the footage of my 1CCs, and I also used the footage from it for my science video. So it should be much more easier to explain how it subverts the formula. Toku writing has a lot of mistakes, not gonna lie. PC98 discontinuation, Yukari's motivation, overall lack of expansion on characters. But yes, that's the thing that makes it frustrating is that it's deliberate. Zun made this by design. And well, we need to continue watching the video, holy shit.
All the patterns are pretty solid, pretty fun to dodge, and pretty fair. But for me, inoffensive doesn't necessarily mean good. I don't know if anyone shares this sentiment or I'm just stupid and unable to see the true beauty behind these bosses, but they really didn't do anything to stick out, at least not in my opinion. I know it's not really good to compare, but just looking at the bosses from the first game really makes the gap in quality apparent. Like you had Kuroji just flipping stuff around, Klaus sucking you into a black hole, or just Sobakura's monochrome aesthetic. On top of that, the boss patterns just seem to be a spew of random projectiles a lot of the time in this game. Now, I'm not sure if people think that I heavily dislike random projectiles due to my distaste for UFO, but that's not really the case. I think they are good to a certain extent, it's just that having to chase a UFO through them felt like a suicide mission to me. Going back on topic now, I'm okay with random projectiles, but in this game, it kinda just made things boring. Instead of having an intuitive pattern to dodge, some type of streaming or just whatever, it all just boils down to don't stand where the bullets are. One thing worth mentioning though is this imperishable night dive finish Yaoroshi had. I thought it was pretty cool, but it really doesn't change the fact that the bosses are very painfully average.
Never mind. What is this? It is like interesting. I hope that's not what's happening.
Oh yeah, I was talking about this cinematic moments on my previous stream, which didn't have a lot of people, but still. This is what I kind of miss from Len'en, actually. Like, I desperately wish for much more classic return. Even though I am for it for the more experimentation, I think it helps Len'en to stand out from Toho a lot more. But I miss the cinematic nature of it. Like, Fumikado's fight and Tasuken's fight are just so amazing. Like, if you pay attention to the backgrounds, which I do, I like exploring the character backgrounds. Though that kind of hinders my ability to dodge. I'm sorry. Oof.
Please say I still win. Oh, there you go. Okay, well, I didn't allow extra. Probably won't do it now. I might save this for another time. But yeah, tell me down in the comments if you want to see extra. Now, I won't lie, I'm just a tad bit disappointed with this game. Before I say anything else, I just want to say that yes, I can hear you all screaming in the comments, oh, it's because you played on light mode. You didn't get the full intended experience, or something along those lines. Yes, maybe that is the case, but to me the difficulty just felt kinda lazy almost. And having less lives doesn't really improve the patterns much now, does it? I just want to make it clear that I don't think this is a bad game. I still think it's great, but just after playing the first one, I probably set my expectations a bit too high. Anyhow, I still very much look forward to playing the rest of the series, since I have heard very good things about the upcoming games, and hopefully I'm not setting my expectations too high again. I'd like to think of this as the Dark Souls 2 of Len'en, still solid on its own but doesn't hold up compared to its predecessor, but I'm sure this game will grow on me in the future.
Yeah, I would actually share the sentiments. It's solid, but it doesn't stand out. But for me, it's for different reasons. I fucking hate those boss fights. That's for one. And second of all, well, the story isn't good, and the color choices are not really all that great in my opinion. Like, they're way too dull, even for Len'en, which already has dull colors overall. Also, let me read the fucking chat. You guys wrote a lot. This is by design. Why else would be there 1925 Go Tohu games? Because he can change light new events without much risk changes. Well, he does go for more story direction lately, maybe because of Len'en, considering it has a lot of Len'en, trademarks. Even even looking at superficial ones like Mayumi being inspired by Sukune and arguably Keiki, if you believe my schizophrenic Sukune is Haniyasu series. But if you read into it, you do kind of realize it kind of borrows a lot from Len'en as of late, you know? But again, it keeps things it keeps things vague a lot of the time, you know? And the characters are still light-hearted. It's not like, you know, those are fucking killing, you know, psychopaths like, you know, from mm, from Le- from Lennon, yeah. Guys, Armor Core game would change the entire corporate dynamics in new micro isn't but there isn't a damn thing in Toho. Well, yeah, again, that's by design, Single well loved. Also, Narians are not important anymore for some reason. Like the last piece appearance as sort of around SA. I thought it was around LOL. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, that's why I honestly prefer Hifu over Toho. It's more of Zoon's social commentary rather than trying to write a story. Wish I play Lennon's story, but I think I just got burnt down by Toho by the situation of Lennon. But even I remember the story being leaks better because it's an actual story. But it isn't too special for me. Maybe I should set my expectations lower. Yeah, you should set your expectations lower. Again, it's first of all, it's an indie game, so it automatically has a much shittier story. I'm sorry. I think I lost a lot of indie games from this point on. But yeah, and well, it has Suzumi, so you know you should be cautious because I don't like Suzumi. Sin Glimmer is so powerful that you think someone's gonna be last stand until you realize it's a bottle opener being angry. Yeah. And that's what makes Len'en. It can get serious, but it's also very fucking goofy. And I expect Monochrome World to have at least some of its goofy moments, even if it looks like a serious game all around. Sorry, don't worry. Subscribe to your Zone has links in basement here.
Anyway, despite the somewhat negative review, I hope you all enjoyed the video still. Do expect more to come from the future, and hopefully I can actually get these out.
Oh, you mentioned Valley Beast. Remember that time that many people were mad at Vogue not being about hell and thinking it was going to be a dark entry just to be replushed by Miko Seeha cohorts. Yeah, I feel like it's the games that got people mixed on the story. Like, people really wanted Toho to have a dark turn, and Zoon probably intended for it to have a dark turn, but he kind of goofed it up, you know, with 40s. But I suppose it was already foreshadowed in, you know, the fucking title, the wily beast and the weakest creature being all animal motif and such. Alright. Here is the last.
So like most days, I was going through my normal business, such as watching paint dry and licking my toenails, not thinking too much about anything. I mean, come on. I can afford to slack for a bit and maybe play some games with friends, you know, the usual. That was until I looked at the date and realized that, oh shit, I have to make a video. So today we are back with everyone's favorite non-Toho bullet hell game, Len'en. Yahoo, Len'en, let's go. So last time I checked out the second game, it proved to be a bit difficult and had to resort to a bit of cheating, if you would, to clear it even with continues. However, what this game had in store surprised me even more, and it even pulled a little special something right at the end that may or may not have proved too difficult for me. Anyway, I'll be keeping the intro short since you all probably know the drill at this point, so here's my first experience playing Len'en 3 Reactivate Majestical Imperial. So much like the first two games, Len'en 3 follows the same structure and gameplay as your typical shoot 'em up, with a few gimmicks of its own, of course. The flash bomb feature is still present in this one, and I am still horrible at using them, even though people keep telling me to make better use of those things. So apologies if this makes you all lose your mind down there in the comments. A new gimmick they added into this entry is that you now play as a duo, and you swap between characters by either bombing or taking a hit.
Oh no, just he fucking plays Kuroji. Or maybe it is team switching, so you know I shouldn't be too worried. But holy shit, Kuroji makes me cringe. I'm sorry.
And I was actually a bit confused as to which of those two triggered the swap, not realizing that both of them did. I swapped to Kuroji again, though I wonder if I did get hit there, or I don't know what triggers the swap at this point. I don't know if it's the hit or bomb or whatever swaps, but or something else completely.
Well, I guess it's all three, like a flash bomb, and taking a hit.
Probably should have done some research on the game mechanics before playing, but oh well. The biggest mechanic they added into this game by far are the ghost items. These are items that you cannot pick up while you're playing the game. Well, at least the character you're using can't. Instead, the character who is currently tagged out picks them up when they fall down there to the bottom of the screen. When you pick up these ghost items, you fill up the spirit jar you see over there in the right hand portion, and when you get it all full, it gives you a brief power up. My biggest complaint with the second game was the difficulty felt sort of cheap and lazy, and I'm happy to say they fixed that for the most part in this one. The difficulty felt a lot more fair and balanced from my experience with this game. I don't know if I was just getting lucky while playing or what, but dodging through the patterns felt very natural to me. Not only during bosses but even during stages, which was by far my biggest gripe with the second game. I've gotten a lot of comments telling me that Len'en stages are pretty much a tale of two worlds. You either know exactly where the enemies spawn in and quickly dispatch of them before they even start shooting you, or you don't kill them fast enough and quickly get overwhelmed by bullets.
Yeah. You either fucking kill them before they do, or they kill you before you can too.
Definitely see that being the case, especially for the previous entries, but in this one, even with my screen filled to the brim with junk, it still felt very possible to weave through the projectiles and survive without bombing.
Now, I don't want to jinx myself here, but this game's stages, they seem a lot more chill than the previous games. Like, not gonna lie. Like, I don't know how
Don't
I'm
get
getting
caught
out
up.
of this
No!
alive though. Oh my god.
You go
Yeah, this
out
game,
of the corner.
like the stages don't seem nearly as bad as the second game stages. Oh my god, that one had like some crazy flipping stages.
I'm not saying the stages are amazing.
Like, again, he is a relatively new person to them, but holy shit, I feel like that's the biggest, common knowledge among the Danmaku players is that you shouldn't fucking stick to the walls. Holy shit, you will get cornered a lot. What the fuck?
Amazing, of course, or anything of the sort like that. They're still very standard, but a very big improvement nonetheless, so good job, Len'en, you win this time. Now, the bosses are honestly nothing too special for the most part. I wouldn't say I hated any of them, but I wouldn't say I necessarily loved any of them either. Some of them still suffer from the typical inconsistent spell card difficulty. Some of the spells are just piss easy to dodge, pretty much zero effort required. On the other hand, while some spells are very easy, some are, Overall, though, individual spell cards aside, as a whole the bosses are pretty consistent in difficulty throughout the game. In fact, I'd say this game has the easiest bosses throughout the entire series so far, as I was able to breeze through stages 1 to 5 with almost no sweat. In terms of originality, I don't think the bosses do anything to stick out, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, yeah, they have their unique attacks and stuff like this wonky looking bone thing, but again, none of them hit as hard as the first game's bosses. Actually, I don't know if I'm just tripping and this is a stretch, but some of the spell cards of this game are very reminiscent of a specific underground nuclear hell themed game I played a while back.
Okay. Seems oddly familiar. Oh shit.
Well, to be fair, it's not only limited to subterranean animism spell cards. Some of them seem to take inspiration from other games as well, such as the main character Yabusami's attacks being very similar to Reimu's attacks from Imperishable Knight, who was also the main character of that game. Not to mention, Imperishable Knight also featured the duo system with some items only being picked up by your partner. Are you guys seeing the parallels here? Now, I'm not saying that taking inspiration is bad. After all, it's no secret that this game is heavily inspired by Toho, but I really wish the bosses did a bit more to stick out instead of throwing me stuff I've already seen before.
We're fighting them. Just like Imperishable Knight. Oh, what are those? Okay, they'll shoot. Oh, it's like Grey move. When she like teleports her stuff around. Okay.
One big criticism I could give about this though is that perhaps the difficulty was a bit too consistent, which ended up making it more inconsistent. Because oh my god, this game has one of the biggest difficulty spikes I have ever seen. So I mentioned just a few minutes ago that I breezed through stages 1 to 5, and that's no joke. I pretty much almost 1cc'd the game and only died towards the end of stage 5's boss. The game was very easy if I'm being dead honest, and stage 5 wasn't that much harder than stage 1. It felt like the difficulty never really went up throughout the entire game since I was having pretty much no trouble clearing the stages. Even neck deep into stage 4, which is usually when the game starts getting a bit unmanageable for me. For some reason though, they decided stage 6 wouldn't follow that trend and be as difficult as any other stage 6, if not harder. To preface things, I already had a very bad feeling right from the start of stage 6, just because of the way it opened. Usually you get a couple of weak enemies who barf bullets at you and it's just business as usual. Not this time, because I instead got this.
Last stage, I believe. Yep. Alright, let's not mess this up. I don't know if I have the time to replay this game. Ooh. Thank you, I guess.
Now, we all know when a game gives you free resources, it means it wants you to fucking use it, which in turn means you are getting mauled within the next few minutes. And mauled I did get because this is what happened immediately after.
Am I just straight on the boss? That's kind of scary. Oh no. Kinda got me scared for this boss and there's no stage at all. Then the stage was free bombs and power. That has me. That oh. Oh no. Oh no no no. It's Loki.
This last boss, Shion, seems to be another Imperishable Knight inspired boss, and I'm sure you all know I'm referring to Kaguya with that statement. Shion follows very similar mechanics to Kaguya's final spell card, if you can even call it that, where instead of taking lives, it takes up a different resource you've been collecting. You remember the Spirit Jar I mentioned towards the start of this video? Well, this boss sucks all that candy you've been collecting throughout the game, and once you're dry, the boss automatically dies and you just win. You win the game. Except I used to continue in stage 5 and I didn't get the good ending because I'm stupid, cry about it. Funnily enough, I actually thought you get the bad ending if you don't beat all the boss's spell cards, and I only realized after recording that I only got the bad ending because I used to continue. God, I am dumb.
Yes, you're dumb. Well, it's a common knowledge, what the fuck? It's a common knowledge that, if you want to see, then you get a bad ending. H4, no. If you use continue, you get a bad ending. And well, Hyun doesn't really just die. Is that you don't really get to fully beat them, if you know what I'm saying. And well, I suppose that their difficulty is excused with that mechanic in mind, because well, the spirits you've been collecting are pretty much equivalent to lives at this point. So that's why the patterns became much more dense.
I was actually planning to go on a little rant on this video about why this boss is stupidly hard and that it's kind of bullshit that you get locked out of continues if you fail, but you actually just win the game the moment you set foot in stage 6. So yes, this game does technically end at stage 5 with the last boss being a sort of bonus. And no, I'm not bending the rules like I usually do, you actually do unlock extra even if you die to this boss. So the game is just actually very easy, and you all deserve to laugh at me for not being able to 1cc it. But good thing Past Me has an excuse, so I'll just let him take the mic for this one.
Oh god, something tells me I'm close to dying though. Oh, it's some... What? Is that just bad ending because I didn't kill the boss? Oh, I can't continue. Yikers. Is there a way to just try the boss? Oh yeah, you can. Alright. Let's try beating the boss. 'Cause I wanna go through all the attacks. I wanna see what the entire boss fight looks like.
Anyway, like, I don't know if he knows it because, well, I will fast forward a bit because, well, I'm not really too keen on, watching through his full blind eye.
I'm
I'm
really
not here
running low
to watch a fucking let's play. I'm here to watch a fucking review.
on time to make this video, so in order for this video to come out, I might go back to this game. I probably will try and beat this game on my own. So now let's talk about Shion themselves. They're pretty hard. I actually went back into them on the practice mode after dying to them. I just loaded stage 6 and did the boss. This boss, in my opinion, is the only notable boss in the game, and mostly because of their unique mechanics and very, very big difficulty spike. Visually, they're pretty unique as well. I like the color palette being used here, and I think it stands out. Their theme as well is pretty good actually, and I think this game overall has really fantastic music, so another plus for Len'en here. There are a lot of very difficult spells they throw at you, like this rotating Oku spell with knives that I just had no idea how to do effectively. Looking back, I think you're meant to stay inside the circles, but all that time fighting Oku taught me not to stay in the big circle that shoots projectiles, so that's my fault, I guess. The boss gives you a bit of downtime with some of the spell cards being more chill, however that's all completely offset by the last one because oh my god, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be another Kaguya-inspired spell, but to be honest, it reminds me more of Ferran's last spell from Perfect Cherry Blossom's extra stage. Which, by the way, just putting it out there, no, I have not played that game, or I have not played the extra stage. I've just seen gameplay of the stage, that's all. Overall, though, I think Shion is pretty fun and memorable in their own way, and if there's any portion of this game to remember, it's definitely stage 6. So yeah, Len'en 3, I'd honestly say this game sits in a sort of middle ground between the first and second game. I felt this game wasn't as memorable as the first, but it's a much more fun experience in the second game. The lack in difficulty isn't necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, especially considering I suck at these games, but I do think the curve shouldn't have been as flat as it is because the difficulty spike in the last stage felt like a bit much, even if the last stage is technically just a bonus. I had a fun time in the short while I played this game, and I think it'll be worth spending a bit more of my time on it in the future. I'm very much looking forward to the next game as I've heard many good things about it, but till then, I'm gonna leave it here. Hope you all enjoyed,
So that was the Elmi. So I'll share my own thoughts on this game. I would say it has better cinematic appeal. Like holy shit, why Izana doesn't use that fucking lantern attack? What the hell? This was a very unique asset. What the hell? But I do have to agree, like, in spite of myself, I have to agree with Sleepless, because, well, I do kind of agree that EMC and Ermi bosses don't really feel all that unique, unfortunately. Like, they still have their gimmicks, don't get me wrong, but they feel a bit more honest in that regard. And, kind of more like STG, not like a puzzle game, you know? The Len'en video is gonna be 30 minutes long. I think it's going to be much more than that, I feel. Yeah, no Fumikato, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I guess, like, they have a lot of rainbow colored bullets, and I do kinda see why that wouldn't be all that interesting. But again, like, holy shit, if you pay attention to the backgrounds, it feels way too fucking cinematic, you know? The way it changes just makes me Ambatakam! Ambatakam! Well, I wouldn't say he's a Len'en channel. He's more of a Toho gameplay channel that, actually comments on things and, kind of like, again, I can compare him to Warete. And even then, Warete also explains the story along the way. So yeah. But with Len'en 4, it's where the originality kind of goes back in. Like, holy shit, there are a lot of mechanics pertaining to it. And also, I do feel like again. I also didn't know. Ah, wait, he doesn't mention what the bonus is. You know, why Shion is bonus boss, and what you get for beating and not beating them. So essentially, you get the good ending, but there is a caveat. Like, if you don't beat Shion, then the game will kind of mock you. Hey, you kind of sucked, didn't you? But when you completely beat Shion, then yeah, the game will congratulate you fully, with no backhandedness around it. But but yeah. And holy shit, I wish for the Len'en collection. My god, I wish for it so much. Like, I don't think that the patterns will be too much revamped, with maybe exception with PPOHC. Like, it is planned to have some reworks, but still, just having a much more fresher experience will help. Mm-hmm. So, how are your thoughts on both Sleepless and Megapig? I actually kind of liked Sleepless a lot more. Like, I didn't watch him because, well, I'm not really interested in gameplay videos. But holy shit, it was good. And even though, the criticism a bit hot, especially, like, he didn't really get the cinematics. Like, with Shion, it kind of makes sense why the fairies wouldn't, shoot bullets at all. Like, it is to set the mood, And, well, the music, like, it should be mixed together with the gameplay, to get the feels, And, well, with Megapig, it's more really a blind run, Like, and was very brief. So, I would say that, that's why Sleepless is much more better as a Len'en reviewer. Even so, I am pretty sure that he will get some mixed feelings about VPOHC because, again, some stage portions are just downright really long, And, well, especially on stage 5 and extra stage, like, holy shit, it takes, like, forever to get here. But I don't know, maybe he'll like the Brilliant and the Haze bosses, and I don't know if he'll appreciate the reuse of the character patterns, like people criticize it for Toho. Even though, like, again, with Len'en it's kind of excusable, and even that it brings a lot of its own patterns. And some characters get even their new patterns. But wait, what the fuck am I talking about? I got distracted. I generally love Pig, but he isn't a channel I come back to, honestly, and it's probably better video for introducing Len'en to Tokus. Yeah, but it doesn't introduce you to the main hook, It kind of makes the Len'en as a gameplay series, which I don't see it that way, Again, like I said, I'm not really a fan of Len'en games as playable games. I'm not really fond of patterns, especially AMC. Fuck this game. But yeah. Please remind me what the fuck was I saying. I'm having a dementia moment. Please help me. I guess all of the D stands for dementia. But Sleepless is just so much more entertaining. He's really good at recommending and getting you to try a new game. Yeah. He like, I'm sorry, I really don't want to be really mean to Megapig, but he's a big nerd, unfortunately. Like, again, as a fellow artist, I mean, I get it. I get being a nerd, but holy shit, he's a massive nerd, you know? But Sleepless is more of a chill dude, yeah. Sleepless is kind of a throwback to me with first impression about the gameplay. It's good though, yeah. I do feel like I also got those feelings, but not really to that extent. Like, I was still kind of chill with a lot of things, especially, with the introduction of light mode, so I could fucking play those games. But yeah. Like, there is, but it is in Spanish. Yeah, like it's locked behind the language barrier. And I don't believe they're subtitled, and holy shit, fuck YouTube for taking off the community captions. Like, holy shit, I used to have a lot of fun with providing Russian subtitles for Len'en videos like Raikun and Zelo-chan back when I was like in 8th grade. And to be fair, it is an 8th grade, so the translation quality isn't the best. But still, it was fun, and if this feature was here today, I would have revamped them, and even like add the colored subtitles like some translations have. Even though those supposed to be like sand translations, because it was made with a kind of software special to make the colored subtitles. Yeah, we need more Lord in essays. Wait, who are they? I don't remember their name, but I do plan to be. Just give me time to cook. It won't be too much of a lore dump, because well, I do believe like stories are better enjoyed for yourself, but like things to recommend and and some other minor things. Like, again, I want to make either how evanescent existence subverts the Len'en formula, or how it or that science video that I was working on. Again, I am on Kuroji, but I realized that I also missed a lot of things on Haka, like that blue flower, Holy shit, Haka is too much inspired for the character, what the fuck? Like, they have so much scientific phenomena, it's painful. Like, holy shit. Jinx was way too inspired when he was making them, holy shit. And well, he did want to be a physicist, so So that was his way of flexing his knowledge upon us stupid mortals. Hell yeah, Haru Len'en essays. Again, I'm trying to. I'm genuinely trying to. But my essays are not going to be voiced. That's my warning. Because, well, it will take a lot of time for me to record. Like, it takes several takes. And, to time everything with my voice will be a fucking chore. So those will be just, for you to read the text on the screen. Some trailer channels, or, back when Slay XSC didn't have a voiceover. So, it's going to be kind of like that, Or, that ending session of my Suwako video where it didn't have voiceover, just subtitles? Yeah, it would be like that. I think I found my preferred style of video editing, like something that is not only kind of ideal for me, but also easier to make. Again, I like making scripts. It's just I don't really want to process the script a lot of the time. So when I'm making those subtitle videos, I just can spontaneously, I already have some notes in my head, and have my open tabs, which I kind of lost. Oops, sorry. But again, I don't really have too much. I only just started on Kuroji. Like I discussed how the reflections work and how they nicely contrast with Kurohibi, which as a special, maybe this will be my true return stream because we have a lot of people here. I'll actually spoil you guys on this one. I'll actually fucking spoil you. Again, I don't really have some kind of Patreon like Boosty, but I will spoil you on the contents. Since you guys are here. So, the character I'm first talking about is Kurohibi. And well, the first I'm talking about how there are a lot of scientists, and to be frank, there are a lot of scientists in Len'en, surprisingly. So I'm starting with Kurohibi because, well, they are the easiest characters to start, and well, chronologically it would make sense. Because, well, Yabusami is kind of difficult to discuss, So with Kurohibi, it's very easy. Kurohibi, their gimmick is that it's related to melanism and shadows. And well, with the shadows is that it contains a blocking object, Or let me look it up. My project has been loaded, so again, even though I have notes in my head, I have, kind of scatterbrain, Science one. It's already like the work that is done is around 4 minutes, and again, I'm just on Kuroji. I plan to cover a lot more. There are also Hibaru that I'll touch on briefly, Tsugumi, which is like also quite curious, There are actually bird characters also are related to the science, now that I'm aware. Because I asked Jinx this question, noticing the parallels between the sciences and the Len'en characters, but I mentioned outsiders, not really bird name characters. So I felt kind of stupid for this. Oh yeah. So what was I talking about shadows? In the profiles, it's mentioned that most creatures and machines are unable to detect them in any way but by sight, which is from evanescent existence, and artificial made to be an assassin. They excel at being covert and are imperceptible to both biological creatures and machines, except through sight, which is from Bot C, which is kind of a pretty much, the description of how shadows work, And then Aoji, I back then I didn't know how whirlpools are actually formed. I just thought they kind of appeared, like those pressure thingies delta P. I thought that was the case with whirlpools, but in actuality it's when the opposite waves collide with each other. So I didn't really found any credible source on that. Like, it says that it's as of an effect, but it doesn't seem to be all that credible, But yeah, since it whirlpools are created this way, it actually links Aoji to the Shitodo siblings with how they're kind of the opposite. Hojiro being a scientist, but also philosophist who also denies that she's a scientist, etc., etc. Kuroji, well, fucking Kuroji, and Kawaka, well, hot and cold, that's a very obvious one. And also, so, I also mentioned the matter states briefly, and how they could potentially manipulate plasma, but I feel like that would be a little bit of a stretch considering they're a water master. So more than likely they're going to be be manipulating only 3 states. I don't know how you get plasma from water, even if it's possible. I don't know. And technically speaking, there are a lot of states of matter. It's just the 3 states of matter that we know, liquid, gas, and solid, are just the most agreed upon and the most common in nature. And not to be artificially created. And it also kind of alludes in the plastic vortex, which is solids, like plastic is solid, and the tuning solid diamond, and diamond is a bit of an aggregatory state, which I don't know if I should kind of note this, but diamond is one of the forms of coal, or no, the carbon. Yeah, carbon, not coal, carbon. And well, you have to watch Semanela's video. He actually explains it in a much more nicer detail and much more entertainingly. Okay, so then we have water about the summoning abilities, but that's me speculating why that would be about. Because, well, did you know that Len'en is not really just pure water? It has a lot of impurities, actually. Also, that's why my balcony looks like shit. Like, we have a lot of snow, and the snow melts in spring, and when it melts, it's just a fucking swamp right here. Just fucking a lot of dust and shit scattered everywhere. And it doesn't help that that Yakutsk is already very dirty, considered to be dirty, So I speculated that it might be related to that, Considering that, well, in those impurities there's life to be held. And there's Hoaka. Well, Hoaka has a lot of things, but let me say, those are just, temperature-related stuff. Some of the complicated temperature stuff, but still, it's a lot. It's fucking a lot. And it's going to be added more because I forgot about, scorpion grass. Like, I thought I didn't really want to include that, but also, so it would make sense to explain it with Hoaka. So maybe I should just use it as a pinned comment, like the scorpion grass thing. Why that's important, and their title, hot-headed and cold-heeled, which is is a bit of a scientific phenomena, which is related to illnesses. Again, even if it doesn't sound all that sciencey, especially it's not really physics related, medicine is still a science, Oh wait, I did mention that. And I can edit in the whole scorpion grass thing. And I forgot what I also wanted to add. Wait, maybe popularity. Like, again, to link it to magnetism, to temperature, etc. Like, the opposites. Then we have Kuroji, and I explained their whole reflective shtick and how it contrasts with Kurohibi, because, well, mirrors are reflecting, but shadows are kind of the aftermath. Like, you flip, like the light from mirror is something that comes back at you, but shadow is behind the mirror, something that you normally wouldn't see. Yeah, medicine is science. And also, well, I forgot to mention this in Kurohibi's section, but I did mention it now, is that, well, since Kurohibi is linked to melanism, it means that they are more likely to absorb light or heat in that manner. No, and that's why it does hurt a lot of animals with melanism, because, well, their dark coat makes them prone to skin illnesses like skin cancer. But for the lizards or for reptiles like Kurohibi, because, well, they're a snake, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. For one, it kind of helps with their whole cold-blooded nature. Like, they actually do want heat to, to feel comfy. But with melanism, their camouflage is a bit of mixed bag. Like, at times it works, but usually it just doesn't. And yeah. Yeah, it kind of reflects on Kurohibi, doesn't it? Because, well, they also kind of fail at espionage to be sneaky. And that's what happens to a lot of melanistic animals. And so there is, white color, which kind of sounds of stretch, considering, well, Kuroji is, well, based around black. That would be their sibling, Hojiro. But white, as opposed to black, reflects the light reflected on it. That's why zebras are black and why polar bears have white fur but dark skin, to better help insulate their bodies. Like, they wouldn't get too hot, but they wouldn't get too cold either. Also, that's why in Yakutsk you would see a lot of black jackets in winter. Because, well, for the simplest reason, it would keep you warm. But also, maybe it's cheap, I don't know. But yeah, you barely would see anyone going with a white coat. Those are usually very black to absorb the heat from the sun if it comes out. So yeah. With clouds, I would kind of give up on explaining because it's a lot of gravity. And, well, the gravity formulas are so fucking awful. Like, let me Google it. Like, gravity. Like, on the surface it's simple. Like, at least our gravity is easy to understand. It's 9.8, or you could just go right through it and just call it 8. But holy shit, for the gravity for the other planets, holy shit, those are so awful. So that's why Klaus is much more elaborate in their speech, and why everyone finds them annoying, because, well, gravity is fucking annoying. But it is related to also time, so it kind of links them to Suzumi, why they are aware of Suzumi's multiple monads. And it would also link them to Yabusame, their kind of rival with big quotes. And the stars are, you can more link them to mythology, which, while mythology isn't exactly science, studying mythology is science. And there are also some science myths, of course. Did I save that image? No, I didn't save that image. I'm trying to show you an example of those gravity formulas. Again, those are fucking doozy. And there are a lot of them. Also, maybe that's why abbreviation exists, because, well, they tell a lot of those intricate formulas, all those intricate numbers, because in physics you never get flat numbers. Those are always kind of one 14,867.99843777777, something like that. And let me cook. But I must leave now. This was fun stream. Keep up with enthusiasm. You're the best. Have a nice day, night. Same for the rest here. Oh, goodbye, Zaro. Goodbye, Zaro. Also here. What the fuck is this shit? This is one of the gravity formulas. No, I can't write them on glasses. I can't edit my model, you know? But yeah, here it is. Here is one of the shits. And I'll do another one, which is much more brief but shows a lot of those cursed shit. Oops, it's too big. Yeah. When I was studying gravity in my school, and I really loved physics, I wasn't too much fond of physics. Not fond of physics. It's posting. Oh, I'm gonna leave guys that this stream is really entertaining for the time I've been here. Oh, thank you. This is the first time I'm leaving a message in a long time. Oh, really? Also, yeah, those are one of the several formulas for gravity. And again, I wasn't fond of math. Not really. I was just neutral towards it. But I loved physics. But holy shit, it's so fucking getting too complicated. Like, so a lot of squares. You know what the fuck? And it always gives you big numbers. Holy shit. You have to actually do fucking dance to get all of this. So with Surubami, Tony64 or whoever was responsible for formulating my question back with the 2021's interview, someone added that Tsurubami could be linked with the politics, but I would actually disagree. Like, maybe they are for some reason. Oh, please don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid. I'm actually will be happy to have more interactions. This is why I kind of stream, to have, like, you know, live interactions with you guys. So anyway, like, maybe there is a merit to it, but I would argue, once I thought about it, that Tsurubami is all about potential energy. And well, it is what exactly says on the tin. It's about, you know, the object's potential energy that they're about to release. Hell, like, one of the funniest examples are marshmallows. Oh, hello, 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 hello. Are you guys here? Are you guys here? Are you guys here? I I was moving places. I'm going through from my room to the main hall to stream. My grandma wanted to sleep. You know, tomorrow is 8 foot, блядь, Moscow. Monday, not Moscow. Hi everyone, hi everyone. Thank you for not leaving. When it's tech break, it's usually either me, you know, going away, or you know, something that, you know, I'm muting my microphone to not let some of my personal information leaked. Again, I'm a VTuber and I want to keep some of my privacy, even though I did leak my fucking down. Because holy shit, how do I even flex my crazy weather without, you know, not stating where the fuck am I? But yeah, I was talking about the potential, the physics potential, and well, Tsubami is pretty much, you know, a lot of our characters had a lot of potential energy within them, and they released it. Like some characters didn't have, or at least to a lesser extent. Like our Hoaka was already kind of active energy. Kurohibi still isn't all that developed, but with someone like Kuroji and Klaus, who are the still objects, like, you know, balls, I would say, they got to unleash, they got to roll down the hill that Tsurubami pushed them in. And well, one of the funnier example of potential energy is how Marshmallow's potential energy is pretty much equivalent to a fucking nuke. So yeah, that's how much of a dangerous ability Tsurubami has. And then I'll talk about Hibaru, but it'll be brief because I'm not really all that versed in more liberal sciences. Like, they're more related to economics, yeah. And that's not something I can really be too versed. No? Oops. Alright, are you guys here? Like, holy shit, I need to get you to guys know that, you know, I'm mute. Again, I do not live alone, so it does have a lot of dangers around it, you know? So, and then we're going to Tsugumi, and well, with Tsugumi, were you making like character deep dives or just a whole character rundown? It's more of a rundown because again, it will be very brief. Again, even though I like sciences, but I'm more of a, you know, casual science fan, not a diehard science fan. Like, I won't get too in depth, but I will get in depth when it kind of links characters to, you know, certain behaviors or certain quirks that I have, you know. That's why I have gameplay footage of it, you know, to use that as my reference footage to, you know, to showcase how Len'en uses physics in the spell cards. Like not physics, but you know what I mean. Physics references. And well, with Tsugumi, I would like to nerd out a lot, but I don't feel like I can explain it clearly. Like, about soils, about how growing giant crops is actually fucking difficult, you know. all this sort of jazz. Like I really like Tsugumi. And for some fucking reason forgot that they're also a researcher. So that would make them a scientist. And I listed fucking Avocado as scientist for Elmi. So cringe. But yeah. And with Midori, again, it's a more liberal science, like politics, so I'm not going to... Like, I feel like Midori is more linked to politics than Tsurubami. Like, again, they're an emperor, that's the first, and they have to make a lot of decisions, but also maybe a lesson in, genetics. Because, well, they are bloods. Type video for characters. I didn't see them, but if I won't forget, I'll check them out. Again, since Midori has blood, like I can also use this as explain genetics and how it plays a role in Fujiwara's household. Well, not household, the clan line. Like how Midori has, blonde hair, well, gold hair, but yes, Midori, it's for the black Midori. Yozane and Sanra, they have much more silverish hair. And that's something that I really like about it. Genetics are also pretty cool, kind of learning the recessive and dominant genes. Like, you can fucking predict how child would turn out based on that. Because you said you learned more into physics and some of the characters' inspirations, maybe you lean into some of the characters. Again, I'm going to just dive into science. It's more of a fun fact, It will be a bit more of a fact to it, but I'll do character deep dives like Fumikado, because again, I really love Fumikado. And I could also Fumikado can be also mentioned in the science video, because, well, they are more related to alchemy, and alchemy is kind of science but on crack. And I have a lot of love for homunculi characters after that one legendary Russian meme about, the homunculus, which was also referenced in Smiling Plants recently. About that homunculus and it being killed by vocals. Like, yeah, holy shit. That was too legendary. And even though it is fake, that this whole homunculus from egg, part of me wishes to believe that we somehow hit a jackpot and we immediately squandered it. But yeah. Also, there are also a lot of other things. Like, I have also a miscellaneous section, one about Medias. Because, well, Medias, while not considered a bird character, they have pretty much physics written all over the face, all over the body, all over them. And it's because they can control friction. And also, if you increase friction too much, you won't be able to move, or at least not without foreign help, like a purse or something. Like, yeah, having less friction is good, but you shouldn't erase all of it. It's a meme. It's because of a meme. Basically, I'm gonna to explain the meme about you. There was one of those experimental Russian channels about some cookie guy in Russia, like Kornei, he was called. And he was trying to create a homunculus. Like, holy shit, there was a lot of various pseudoscientific shit in Russia that was made into memes. Like, there was also one old dude that suggested as a as a cure for hemorrhoids to insert a cucumber into your anus. And not just any cucumber. You know, one of those tiny cucumbers, you know, kind of homely ones, not the store ones. And you have to not rip it off. You have to not pull it off from its stem. And you have to pull out, you know, one of the ends, you know, that isn't a stem to get in the moist, and then you insert it yourself. But anyway, about chicken ex-humans. Well, he tried to create homunculus, and one of the solutions to it was to create a mix between chickens and humans, since you can kind of impregnate the egg. You insert your sperm into it, and it would theoretically mix together and create a homunculus. Why? I don't know why. But they are all kind of kooky, so you know, pseudoscience is very kooky. It just needs to be, you know, mocked, not believed. And so there was like a first attempt that was short-lived. Like, the homunculus hatched, but it died. So he decided to take apart to do a second try. And then it managed to live. Yeah, there were a lot of fake videos with homunculus. Even that one is argued to be fake. And yeah, it is logical to believe that, but don't know, my heart wishes to believe. My heart wishes to believe. Only those two videos were kind of real. Others were not. Those were just, you know, various exotic pet animals. Like, I legit one of the videos claims that axolotls are homunculi. Yeah. That's how they were desperate to get on the chain. And that's because, well, axolotls also look like one of the children's mascot, Munti, or Luntik. And, well, they look quite look-alike. You can search it up, Luntik or Munti, and then you'll see. I don't want to pull up the image. So, anyway. The second attempt, well, was successful, and it was living for a brief moment. Like, it wouldn't live too much longer. Like, it's... Holy shit, I will be spoiling Made in Abyss, so, you know, I wouldn't. But basically, it wouldn't live for so long. But its lifespan was even shortened, because it spat on Corny once he took out the homunculus. And he said, "Блядь!" And then he slapped it. Or maybe I should show you the video, the original video. Let me cook. They kind of went off topic. Oops. Так. Гомункул убили книгой. Also, if you heard some... Also, if you heard something funny, no. I want to watch it soon. Oh, please watch it, please watch it. Also, if you heard something funny, no. I didn't say the N-word. It's a Russian word for book. But yeah, many memers actually made fun of this. Anyway, yeah. So, why did he kill it? It's bad on him. It's bad on him. And I suppose the saliva was painful, so he reacted immediately. And it spawned a lot of memes, and it made me love a lot of homuncular characters. Because when I first learned about this project, and it was like around the same time when this meme was popular, like I learned about Fumikado being an homunculus, and that's how everything went to shitter. Anyway, so yeah, Fumikado could also be a fringe case, and well, each for Mitsumo, Medias is pretty much the friction incarnate, but also, there's a throne of Ukifune, the final stage of Haze Route. It kind of behaves similarly to non-Euclidean spaces. Because how they work is that they don't appear, they're not what they seem, if you know what I'm saying. If you watched Code Paul's video on it, then you will understand it fully. Was it Code Paul's? Non-Euclidean. Code Parade. Non-Euclidean words engine is like the great way to learn about non-Euclidean spaces. And Ukifune practically functions the same because, well, at first it seems like the throne is very close, but as you start walking towards it, it starts to distance far away from yourself. Like the distance walked is much more longer than it initially seemed. Say no to non-Euclidean structures, but I love non-Euclidean structures. Don't know, they feel so cheapy and dreamy, and I love it. Also, wait, the outsider characters, like Tsuzumi could be linked to, to astronomy / astrology, and could be, psychology, which is a bit finicky, but, whatever. They are linked to memories and such, and they're also Xeno, the whole probability shtick, and also, Hojiro being, philosopher, even though, surprisingly enough, philosophy isn't considered a science, even though it is closely related. Very closely. And Haru seems to be criminology, but, with the revelation that she's just, a housemate, she's not really all that, a housekeeper, I mean. She doesn't seem all that interested in it, so maybe. Not including first. So yes, that would be a gist of my video that I fully spoiled. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do, yet like the motivation to finish it, like holy shit, there's a lot of materials that I have to pull up to show you what I'm talking about, So yeah, here's my brief lecture. Thank you for coming to my TEDx. And there are still quite a lot of people considering, this stream has been going on for like 3 hours at this point. Oof. And considering we're not even talking about the main thing about. So yeah. It would be kind of an end, even though I really don't wish to end with citations. Well, I'll try to citate as much as possible, but unfortunately all those citations will going to be pulled from Wikipedia. Again, I'm not an expert. I already made the disclaimer in the video that I'm not an expert on these fields. I just thought the references are kinda cool. And you know, link to the curious videos to learn more about. Like again, I would recommend Code Parade's video to learn about non-Euclidean spaces. Again, those are very fun. And what will my next stream about going to be? Maybe I'll show Mukai. Maybe I'll fucking show Mukai and why people should play it. You should play Mukai at all costs. Like, its art is not good, I admit. Even I will admit. But still, like, gameplay wise, it's so good. It's really good. It's me trying to want to see it on normal because, well, playing it on easy lets you get an F- from me, yeah. Well, at least it's better than Suwauko. I think you'll get the information wrong. If he tried to make this style of video. Gay Luigi. I'll try coming to the next stream. Oh, nice. But the next stream will be in Friday because, well, it's going to be Monday, so it's a working day, and I can't stream on working days, you know? Unless I'm going to stream on the midday, like afternoon. But I don't know how many people will turn up, you know? It will be like early in the morning, which is not good. So maybe let's wrap it up. How was my lecture? How was my shitty lecture? Again, I'm not going to go in depth again. I'm just going to find out how cool the references are. Again, I'm not going to explain all the fucking formulas. I'm not really fond of more formulas. Bullshit. They give me PTSD. Genuinely. Alright, what was it? Outro. Can you even hear the end song? Because I feel like it's too... I would have slept easy. Was very cool for the first stream I've been in from you. Aww. Please don't judge me hard. I already judged hard on so Suwauko. Good day, good night, and goodbye. Yeah, it's already fucking 2 AM for me. Goodbye everyone, goodbye.